Show me it's the right time. Show me it's the right time.
My soul, my life force, my energy. Don't know what's gotten into me. I'm into you and the way you move. You feel me too. Just feel the screw 'cause I'm digging you. And that smile too. It's all feeling you. I can sing to you. It's all I can do. It's all I can do. Even if you don't care about the words I'm singing and this energy I'm sending, it just doesn't mean a thing. You're a work of art. You're a song. You're the apple of my eye. At least for the night, just consider not walking right on by. Bye. Just show me it's the right. Just show me it's the right. Just show me. Just show me it's the right time. Just show me. Just show me it's the right time. Just.
If I was to tell you just how much I need you, would you come tonight? Or would you not believe me? 'Cause I'm not that easy, never turns out right. I'm tryna change your rules, you deserve something good in your life. We waited for far too long, so come get your blessings tonight, baby. Won't you come over, love, so I can show you love. I promise I've got enough to give you all that you need, baby. So many search to find love that's as good as mine. I don't wanna waste your time, so bring it on to me, baby. Ooh. Baby, let me teach you, give you love instruction, show you what to know. Need to take it easy, no need to rush, no baby, nice and slow. All this love I can give to you, I expect there's a bit in return. But you don't have to be perfect, love, as long as you're willing to learn, baby. So many search to find love that's as good as mine. I don't wanna waste your time, so bring it all to me, baby. So many search to find love that's as good as mine. And I don't wanna waste your time, so bring it all to me, baby. Ooh.
Yes, right.
Turn down the lights, I'll give you all of my love tonight. Let's do what lovers do. Ooh, I'm ready for you. I don't wanna waste my time, so don't make me beg tonight. And don't keep me waiting for love. Won't you come over, love? Come over, love. Show you love, show you. Promise I've got enough to give you all that you need, baby. Won't you come over, love, so I can show you love. I promise I've got enough to give you all that you need, baby. So many sights to find love that's as good as mine. I don't wanna waste your time, so bring it on to me, yeah. Bring it on to me, yeah.
Die sombren zelten meg, et zu ite saluda, antes dium niga, radzauzen
like estrellas, durante todo en mi mundo. A no distancia, como cupo palu, zangiman malak guafi, con una sugi airi, preba tu la noche, nai banderata caigui, pues atan fanny bandera, kau esta pagua pumalapa, gilo tanu man libri, sentami ti man ko badi.
Fanogita moru purita nota kantai matu nanyagi todu ilugat para I honra para I gloria abiba is la sin para I honra, para I gloria, abiba is la sin parat. Todo I tiempo I paz para hita, dan gini langit na bendition. Conchai peligro na fan sofuham Zeus protegis languahon. Conchai peligro na fan sofuham Zeus protegis languahon.
put your trust in me. Just say the word, what it is that got you bugging. I'll be there whenever you are stressing. And when I do get close to you, all of your friends ain't got no clue. I just can't wait to be with you. I promise I'll make everything so easy. Boy, I'll be faithful. Promise not to hurt your heart. Swear I'm not able. I loved you from the very start. My love's on the table. Take it how you want it, boy. Yeah. Take it how you want it. Boy, I'll be faithful. I promise not to hurt your heart. Swear I'm not able. I loved you from the very start. My love's on the table. Take it how you want it, boy. Yeah. Take it how you want it, boy. Boy, I'm all yours. Do it how you wanna. Put me on your shoulders. Got me a soldier. Here's the plan. Stay forever in my heart. Always by your side. Till death do us apart. Don't worry, boy. Don't worry about a thing. You can put your trust in me. Say the word, what it is that got you bugging. I'll be there whenever you are stressing. And when I do get close to you, all of your friends ain't got no clue. I just can't wait to be with you. I promise I'll make everything so easy. Boy, I'll be faithful. Promise not to hurt your heart. Swear I'm not able. I loved you from the very start. My love's on the table. Take it how you want it, boy. Yeah. Take it how you want it. Boy, I'll be faithful. I promise not to hurt your heart. Swear I'm not able. I loved you from the very start. My love's on the table. Take it how you want it, boy. Yeah. Take it how you want it, boy. Take it how you want it. How you like it. When you need it. Yeah. Take it how you want it. How you like it. When you need it. Take it how you want it. How you like it. When you need it. Take it how you want it. How you like it. When you need it. Take it how you want it. How you like it. When you need it. Oh. Take it how you want it. How you want it. Take it how you want it.
Good morning, Guam. Right on. Morning, Sabrina.
Good morning. Happy birthday.
And a certain user of ours who always watches, who is in the States right now, Miss Maria Skrull, possible connection to the Link family,
Day.
says 8 straight times in all caps, happy birthday, C. Christopher.
Hey, thank you.
Hi,
thank
Maria.
You. Hi, Maria. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, guys. Happy birthday on me. Okay, let's do the show now.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Chris. Happy birthday to you. It's a malfunction birthday. May the dear Lord bless you. May the dear Lord bless you.
Achoo, it's not COVID.
May the dear Lord bless Chris and everybody who was born on September the 13th. Happy birthday to you.
All right. Thank you,
to
guys.
commemorate the occasion, Chris is wearing Calvin Klein.
Okay. Let me just tell you guys my...
Trust me, this
Can I
is
just
fun. This
address
is
the
classic.
shirt? I'm going to address the shirt
Okay, everybody
right
on
off the
Facebook,
bat.
put down what you're doing and listen to this. This story is great.
Okay, so anyway, my mom got me this shirt for my birthday, guys.
Aww.
Yeah.
Nicely done, Auntie. Nice choice.
Looks good.
I don't even know what color. What color is this?
Orange.
It's
Yeah,
like traffic
orange.
cone orange, right?
That's, you're still the one orange.
Okay. So anyway, she asked me Saturday, it might have been Friday. She was like, "Oh, do you have a red shirt?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "Okay." And so she, she got me this shirt for my birthday. I think they were having a sale or something. Oh, which means a lot because, you know, my mom's not like made of money or anything. So I know going to Calvin Klein for her, like, is a big deal. So thank you so much, Mom. I appreciate it.
Oh.
It's very loud.
You're rocking CK. Now, you know the invitations already went out for the Met Gala, right? So apparently you're not getting one of those.
So thank you guys. Thank you guys for your birthday wishes. We're just getting started, really. 6:25.
Okay, can I just add? Speaking of local celebrities, Joseph, you got the picture? There was a local celebrity that actually showed up, a beloved member of our Guam community, showed up on national TV yesterday. Guys, here's this picture. Remember Jewel Maige, daughter of Valerie and Chief Jeff. She's now a cheerleader at the U.S. Naval Academy. She's there. She's in her freshman year. She's a plebe. And she was cheering as Navy took on Air Force. And CBS actually got her on that. And a very, very proud mama was posting a bunch of pictures. And Jewel was so proud of you. And, if you know Val's like the sweetest person in the world. And she was like super, super happy.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah. Congratulations to Jewel.
Great job, Mom and Dad.
Right on.
Yeah. Good job, Chief.
The other things that happened over the weekend, Jay, there was a great 9/11 ceremony that we streamed.
Yeah, that was really, really emotional. Great job, first of all, to the Rotary Club of Northern Guam, Joe Rios, Hermie Cahill, and Joey Lopez Sr., all of their staff up there at Two Lovers Point. Very, very emotional, very fitting. The governor was there. Obviously, the fire department, the police department, the pilots union was there, and they laid 5 distinct wreaths at the 9/11 memorial up there. Very, very moving stuff.
Yeah.
On the 20th anniversary of 9/11.
A little different on a Saturday. We're used to doing that on a weekday, right?
Yeah.
It's Monday, guys, September 13th, 2021, 6:27. This is the link.
How does it feel to be to be born in 19 blah 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 blah?
Jay, you know how it is. The more birthdays you have, the less you want to celebrate them.
Yeah.
I was like, my goal was just to ignore this year.
You better be careful, though, because with the number of candles you're going to have to light on the cake tonight, you're going to have like the fire chief.
There's probably some kind of restriction on the number of candles. Can't have that many candles together on one cake.
The cake's going to collapse.
First of all, we need a bigger cake. I
got no problem with that. I like cake.
I was just trying to get through this without any happy birthday or nothing.
Yeah, right.
But social media, it's like everybody knows, hey, guess whose birthday's coming up? Hey, your birthday.
But you know what? Because it is your birthday, and we always celebrate you and we celebrate the Ling fam, we got something really, really special coming up, guys. So you want to watch today's episode because The Voice is coming back.
Yes.
And we are doing something super special, not just today, but all week long.
Guys.
Oh, I'm so excited about this.
This is great. It might be my birthday, but we're going to give you $500 this morning.
500.
And guess what?
500.
500 is how they say it.
Yeah.
500
$500 each day.
Yep.
That's
and we're
right.
going to do it again tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you have to keep listening to find out how you can win this $500.
$500. This is $500.
Hey, man, that's
every day this week. $500.
That's a car payment. That's a car payment for a really, really nice car. That's a car payment and a night out to eat.
That's more than you got on your pandemic EBT card.
Yeah.
We're giving it out before the rise.
The boom.
$500.
Yep. It's going to be so easy to win, too. Just keep listening to the show. We're going to do it after 9 o'clock, maybe even after 9:30, so just don't go anywhere.
And because, of course, The Voice on NBC, it's a musically oriented game show contest.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
If you guys want to kind of like prepare, we'll give you like a little bit of hint, but get in the mindset of
guys. Is my shirt throwing off the stream? Because it looks like it's like throwing off the stream. Is it? It's okay.
It's good.
Okay, got it. Go on, Jay.
You've got a future as when
I feel like Bree wants to say something.
When all of our school children go back to face-to-face learning,
yeah,
you've got a future as a safety patrol.
I do. I'm just going to stand in the middle of the road and the car is going to part like the Red Sea.
No, that is a nice shirt, though.
Yeah,
That's
it's
really
nice.
Yeah, it's cool. I trust my mom. She's like, wear this. I'll go, okay, I wear it.
Looks good.
And are you wearing Zoris with it?
No, I'm wearing Vans.
You got? Let me see the Vans.
Well, I got them a couple months ago, but I got these cool.
The checkerboard ones?
Are you going to make me take off my shoes?
Please.
No, it's cool. They're clean. I got these really cool. They're like these silicone rubber laces. They're not even real shoelaces. But check out my socks.
Matchy. Look at you. Gotta coordinate.
You don't even want to see my underwear.
Pass.
That's okay. That's
Anyway.
So you had hot pepper on your sock. No, the underwear is where the real spiciness comes in.
That's a real dunny.
Maria, check your boy, please.
Yeah, okay, it's 6:31, guys.
Happy birthday, though, bro.
There, got it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, remember what we did for your birthday last year? Total surprise, because Senator Tello Taidigui came on.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And it was Senator Tello Taidigui and now Speaker Therese Terlahi. Senator Tello, herself a very accomplished, musician, a lounge singer for many, many years.
I heard she makes a mean linguine.
Yeah, and she serenaded you, and I remember it, and we're like, oh, Senator Terlahi, you want to jump in? She's like, no, singing's not my thing, but happy birthday, Chris. I'm just gonna be over here dusting off my law degree, so you guys go ahead and sing.
You sing all you want. It's 6:31. So we're giving away $500. That's it. That's the whole show, guys. That's all we're gonna do today.
500. And we want to give you guys. We want to help you guys out.
Our good friend Dr. Peter Lombard is coming on. We just had a crazy data breakdown from Dr. Ann Pobutsky Friday, and so Dr. Lombard, we haven't had him on because until about 6 weeks ago, there wasn't really much COVID data to crunch.
And we shared Dr. Pobutsky's interview on as a standalone thing on Facebook. And if you guys check out our Instagram story right now, Tomas Manglonia, who's back now, he's with us. He actually put a really wonderful collection of the best sound bites from Dr. Pobutsky's thing. So that's up right now on Instagram stories.
Nice.
I was wondering, I was like, okay, well, Dr. Pobutsky gave a lot, she made a lot of very direct conclusions. She was very, very upfront about, how she felt about the outbreaks and everything. And I was wondering, I was like, yeah, you're going to get some comments. People are going to say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. The comments were overwhelmingly supportive. People were like, thank you, Doc. #real talk. Everybody was like, wow, this is some stuff. And they really appreciated the doctor being so forthright.
Yeah, so Tomasi was texting me, I'm pretty sure he was bothering you guys too over the weekend. He was like, hey, what
bothering?
What parts of the show on Friday, did you think were really kind of like the main takeaways? And the thing I thought of first, Bree, was the hospital infections. When Lillian Posadas said she kind of, broke that right here live on the show. And a lot of stuff will happen like that on the link because, we're asking the questions. And it was just kind of a random ask out of the blue. We were like, hey, have there been any infections lately? And she was like, oh, hold on. Hold my coffee. Let me tell you. Yes. But then there was also the interview with Dr. Pobutsky where we asked her point blank from an epidemiologist standpoint, not from you're a politician seeking re-election or any kind of other standpoint, but just strictly from a scientific perspective. Would a lockdown work? And she said, yes, lockdown would work. Only police, fire, whatever going around. Yeah, that would totally work. Totally.
Yeah.
So that was huge. And you see it in the comments. People are really just, I feel like they're trying to just self-regulate because there hasn't been any real announcement or change in the restrictions.
Yeah, Joser said yesterday, because, of course, we've said it many times, he does audio-visual for the Mongmong Parish, said a lot of people were watching your stream, but not a lot of people actually showed up in the pews, right? Yep. So they're doing what's right.
Yeah. I don't know. And Jotnyo was, it wasn't like packed, but yeah, there's people showing up still to Mass.
I streamed the one from Cathedral yesterday, and that was, not as well attended as normal.
Right. Yeah. So I think people
It doesn't apply, I don't believe, to church.
It doesn't apply to
Yeah.
churches,
And
but
things.
I think people are just kind of like, hey, I don't want to go around. Let me chill out for a while. Yeah. So we're getting Dr. Lombard on, Mayor Alec. What's going on with the mayors? We heard there was a meeting. They had a sit down with the gov last week, and she's concerned about getting out supplies to the people who need it. So she's basically with the mayors to help out, and we'll find out for Mayor Jesse. We're doing work week weather with Landon.
Yep.
You sent him the thing?
Yeah. So he is back in the saddle. This is going to be week 2 since his very well-deserved vacation. And yesterday was a gorgeous day, you guys. Sunday weather was beautiful.
Yeah, it was very nice.
I'm wondering if it's going to persist throughout the rest of the week.
It was hot though yesterday.
It was.
Right. What kind of day is it out there, Joe? Looks good, right? It's a good day to have a birthday? Okay, right on. Cool.
But that thing about, people were saying, they really appreciated Dr. Pobutsky's thing. Throughout the pandemic, throughout the history of this show, we're now in month 19 of doing this. We've seen that sometimes, the strongest messages and people coming right out and saying, this is really, really messed up. And if you guys don't want to really suffer, get your act together. Dr. Jolene Uggen, when she came out and had like a 38 minutes straight of saying from a physiological standpoint, this is what COVID did to you. That put the fear of God in a lot of people.
Yeah, I was telling Tomas.
And as a frontliner working at GMH,
Yeah.
what she goes through, what they go through on a daily.
And she was like, if you think COVID is BS, I wish you guys could just walk through the ER and see what we see every day. I mean, those are her words, not mine.
Another interview that was kind of like that was the one we did with Dr. Maglotnia, Jana Maglotnia.
Yes.
And it was very similar to what Dr. Babatsky had said about the main spreaders during this surge. Remembering Dr. Maglotnia's comments prompted that reaction from Dr. Akimoto, which is now in history, right? So yeah, we definitely get our share of pretty good interviews here on the link. So don't miss out. Janelle Carrera, Public Health, coming on. They're doing a lot right now.
Mm-hmm. They've got the team from FEMA coming in. HHS, I believe, may have already arrived, or some of them. The Public Health Lab, they're getting the support again from off island. This was all part of the FEMA medical assistance requests program.
Right.
And so
they
the
call it the
government
vaccinator team, right?
No, that's part of
Part
it.
of it,
Like
yeah.
they're
So
coming in. There's
they're getting-
vaccinators.
Yeah.
There's the monoclonal treatment team. There's the public health lab support. And then we have GMH, who's making a request also to DOD to get some medical staff here on Guam to help.
And that should tell you how serious it is. It's 6:37. Let's go ahead and get into the news.
Okay.
Right on. It's our first look at news. It's brought to you by Pacific Points from the KUAM news team with the very latest on this Monday morning. Good morning, Sabrina Salas-Mantanani.
Off it, everybody. Since Friday night, Guam recorded 4 COVID-related deaths and a total of 345 new positive cases out of 3,737 tests performed. Keep in mind, these are only the numbers from public health. Additional cases are expected from private clinics from weekend testing and should be released by the Joint Information Center later tonight. As for those 4 deaths, they occurred at Naval Hospital on the 8th. They were a 64-year-old woman, a 57-year-old man, a female adult whose age was unspecified, also a male adult whose age was unspecified. According to the JIC, their vaccination status was unknown. As well, it was also unknown whether they had any underlying health conditions. 3 were pronounced dead on arrival to Naval Hospital. The deceased have been transferred to the Chief Medical Examiner's Office. Additional information about their cases will be provided once it is available. As of Sunday night's JIC, a total of 72 people are hospitalized, 7 receiving ICU level of care, 3 are on a ventilator. Out of the 72 patients, 43 are reported unvaccinated, 6 are unknown, 1 patient is ineligible to receive the shot, and 22 are vaccinated. To date, there have been a total of 12,379 officially reported cases of COVID-19, with 159 deaths total. 2,776 cases are in active isolation, and 9,445 people have recovered. As of 9/11, the CAR score remains at 39.2. Also, as of 9/11, a total of 112,992 of Guam's eligible population are fully vaccinated. The island, in the meantime, recorded its 13th traffic-related fatality after a car accident in Pidi Saturday night. At around 8:30 p.m., the Guam Police Department's Highway Patrol Division was activated to investigate. Preliminary reports suggest that a black Hyundai Tucson was traveling south by Polaris Point when the vehicle ran off the roadway and collided with a utility pole. A 29-year-old woman was declared dead at the scene, and 2 female occupants were transported to Naval Hospital and GMH. Their conditions are unknown at this time. This case remains open as traffic investigators have yet to determine if speed, alcohol, or drugs were factors in the crash. Governor Lulian Guerrero has allowed the fiscal year 2022 budget bill to lapse into law without her signature. In a transmittal letter to Speaker Therese Terlahi late Saturday night, the governor said among the reasons she didn't sign the bill was the amendment by Terlahi to increase revenue projections by $20 million and lockbox it to pay for tax refunds. She called it premature at best and reckless at worst. She says the legislature is relying on a surplus that is not certain to occur. The legislature passed the budget on August 31st. The governor had 10 days, excluding Sunday, to act on it. Otherwise, it lapses into law, which she allowed it to do. The speaker responded in a release of her own, saying they should no longer hold on to the people's refunds, and there is, quote, no excuse to lag behind other jurisdictions in returning the people's money. She adds that the legislature must now address the urgent needs the budget can address and ensure fairness and transparency for the $600 million that Guam is holding in the bank. With more news now, here is Tomas Manglonya.
This news update is brought to you by Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
Hafa good morning, everyone. I'm Tomas Manglonya with your headlines here on The Link. The first batch of all rise claims has been processed and sent to the Treasurer of Guam for payment. So far, 18,000 out of the total of more than 33,000 applications were cleared, totaling some $19 million. DRT Director Daphne Shimizu.
Because this is a first in, first out process, we have to make sure that all applications that were A status came in and we get those paid before we move into the next day. But again, we're really excited to just be able to get these, begin to get these payments out. They'll get to the treasurer no later than Monday morning. And so again, it does take a little bit of time for the treasurer to get those mailed out, but that is the time when the treasurer will review, work to get those mailed out, and then also work to execute any direct deposits.
About 6,000 claims, or 17%, are in suspense status, meaning they have errors that need to be corrected.
What will happen is our team actually has a review committee. We're going to be reviewing the reasons for the suspend status, and so we determine whether or not those eventually get paid.
The program is capped at $30 million. Shimizu says it's difficult to calculate the total amount claimed so far because there are still many in suspense status and there are also many manual claims that still need to be processed. But if the amount of valid claims exceeds the cap,
Governor Leon Guerrero has indicated that if there is another $5 or $10 million that is needed, she will work to try to identify funding so that we can work to make payment on that. Now, it's difficult to tell exactly the dollar figure that's associated with the total. We know we're in about the $30 million range, but because we have so many applications that are in suspense status, and we still do have applications that are yet to be processed, the manual ones, it's difficult to tell exactly the dollar figure.
The All-Rise application period ends Wednesday, September 15th at 5 p.m. for both in-person and online filings. Shimizu says so far 76% of applications were filed online, which makes processing faster, and more than 50% elected to be paid by direct deposit, which means they'll also receive their payments faster. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Several major tourist entertainment venues have been approved for direct federal relief funding. The Guam Sandcastle, the Fisheye Marine Park, and the Natla Cultural Park will receive the assistance under the Small Business Administration's Shuttered Venue Operator Grant. Congressman Michael St. made the announcement saying, quote, "We can now look forward to these attractions continuing to operate despite tough tourism conditions, recovering payrolls for dozens of employees no longer able to avail of PUA, and helping our community to remain economically viable in these uncertain times," end quote. St. Nicholas said he met this week with the SBA also to discuss other federal assistance such as restaurant revitalization funding and economic injury disaster loans. And the Guam Memorial Hospital may be dealing with increasing numbers of hospitalizations, but according to hospital management, they're also seeing an increase in staff contracting COVID.
Exposure has happened.
Yes.
According to GMH Administrator Lillian Posadas, in August alone, a total of 16 hospital staff were infected with COVID-19.
This week, just this week alone, we've had like about 7 of our staff with COVID infection.
Posadas' employees were from various departments such as dietary, laboratory, radiology, security, and employees assigned to sit and watch COVID patients. The administrator even confirms exposure at the skilled nursing facility in Barragata Heights.
One of them was sitting and watching one of the patients up at the SNF, and so that's where the contact was.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry, SNF? I thought SNF was COVID-free.
Yes, it is COVID-free. It's supposed to be COVID-free, but, when it does happen, that patient gets transferred over. So we try and keep it as COVID-free, but we are monitoring patients and staff twice a week. And so when the results come back, that's when we move them over. So unfortunately, that's what happened with that one patient that was exposed to, one staff who was exposed to a patient who converted.
GMH's Infection Control Department is doing the contact tracing for the staff infections. Posadas did not have the vaccination status of the employees, nor could say whether the 23 employees were all exposed at GMH or out in the community. What she can say is that it's forced her already overburdened staff to work harder.
We also have staff who are willing and who are committed to then continue working. They're working extra hours. So, everybody's stepping up to the plate and stepping up to their, responsibility to help out and put in extra hours to cover where we need them to cover.
Guam is getting $32 million in federal funding for the design and construction of a new public health biosafety lab. The governor received the notification of award from the Office of Local Defense Community Cooperation, formerly DOD's Office of Economic Adjustment. The lab would be capable of biosafety level 2 and 3 analytical testing. It would not only serve Guam, but also the military and the region. Following up on a story we brought you last week, Public Health Today got some much-needed help for their lab. Through FEMA's medical staffing program, 2 medical technologists or clinical lab scientists arrived to Guam today. As we reported, Public Health made the request last week and FEMA approved it. More medical professionals are expected to arrive next week. They will help with the administration of monoclonal antibody treatments and vaccinations. That's it for now. We'll see you tonight for KUM News Primetime. Thanks for tuning in.
This news update is brought to you by Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
The head of the island's Catholic Church has responded to a recent court ruling made more than a week ago that clears the way for telemedication abortion. Patients can now receive government-mandated information about an abortion from their physician via telemedicine without having to make a separate medically unnecessary in-person visit. In his response letter, Archbishop Michael Burns wrote, quote, Judge Francis Tenico Gatewood's decision in the District Court of Guam on Friday the 3rd was another blow to opponents of abortion. The judge's decision opens the door to so-called telemedicine, which would assist women and girls locally in procuring abortions guided remotely by doctors from afar. The judge's ruling grants a preliminary injunction on local laws that had made it more difficult for women to seek abortions. Quote, we're naturally disappointed and upset about this latest legal effort that impedes the work to protect the unborn. However, especially for we baptized children of God, remember that our hope is forever in our Lord, as now St. John Paul II urged, do not abandon yourselves to despair. We are the Easter people, and hallelujah is our song. We must persist in defending lives of our unborn, pray fervently, speak up, push for pro-life legislation, and join voices and efforts together. An indictment unsealed in federal court reveals 2 Nigerian men living in Florida who recruited 2 Guam residents to fleece almost $1 million from friends and family as part of what's called an inheritance scam. The twist, one of those island residents pled guilty in a separate case to federal charges for defrauding her employer out of more than $1 million. In documents unsealed in federal court, Okichukwu Iwuji and Jide Abimbola were indicted for perpetrating what's called an inheritance scam. According to the FBI's website, this is a form of an advance fee scheme which occurs when the victim pays money to someone in anticipation of receiving something of greater value, such as a loan, contract, investment, or gift, and then receives little or nothing in return. According to court documents, beginning in 2018 to November 2019, Iwuji and Abimbola were living in Florida when they recruited as co-conspirators Teresa Pareda and Sally Cruz Roberto to participate in an advance fee scheme to defraud Guam-based victims. The conspiracy involved obtaining money from victims by falsely representing that they would need to pay certain taxes and fees in advance before receiving funds from a multi-million-dollar inheritance. In total, Pareda and Roberto allegedly wire transferred $885,000 to Iwuji and Abimbola. The Nigerian men then wired the money to domestic and overseas bank accounts, withdrew funds in cash or via ATM, and among other things, conducted debit transactions. Iwuji and Abimbola were picked up in August in Florida. They appeared via video conference and pled not guilty to the charges. Their trial has been scheduled for November 5th. As for Roberto, she has a pending case in the district court, but the files have been sealed off to the public. As for Pareda, she's scheduled to be sentenced in the District Court of Guam this week for a separate case involving her former employer. From January 2011 to September 2019, Pareda scammed Dr. Robert Gatewood's dental clinic in Hagåtña out of more than $1 million. She was employed there for almost 30 years. She was the office manager with duties that included managing the company's finances. According to the plea agreement, she would divert money from the clinic for her own personal use by writing unauthorized company checks to herself and other companies she was associated with. In total, she wrote about 284 checks, fraudulently obtaining over $1.1 million. Now, in this case, she is asking for leniency. In her sentencing memorandum, however, it reveals more information about the Nigerian case. It states that she became a victim of an inheritance scam beginning in 2015 when she was contacted by an individual who claimed an elderly woman in Hawaii would like to leave her millions of dollars upon her death. For years, she would give her own money and collect money from family and friends. She even admitted to using her employer's credit card machine without his knowledge to run other people's cards. Court documents state she cooperated fully with investigators in her current case and the case involving the inheritance scam. The U.S. Attorney's Office, however, has another take on the matter and is asking the court to sentence her 8 years in jail with credit for time served. The request not only takes into account the fraud perpetrated against her former employer, but also her involvement in the advance fee scheme in which she helped facilitate a multi-year, multi-million-dollar fraud scheme. At least 36 victims were fleeced a total of $2.5 million. Pareda only stopped in helping facilitating this scheme because she got caught. Pareda is scheduled to be sentenced in federal court this Thursday. And with your news in Chamorro, here's Ken Concepcion.
Buenos sa updates to get some to be kunut sa morgan ni KUAM News. Presenta ni Familian Mizo gi First Hawaiian Bank. Maripori mina tresi na finaitan crash kareta gi pangin sablu. Kasi rasotsi media man maagang ni Highway Patrol gi Guam Police Department pro investiga después accidente gi zapiti. Ipremet na report anong naun aturong na kulod Hyundai Tucson sa umunano hadza gi Fioni Polaris Point ani atopi aligin semento gi Campton Salan. Noong 29 anos na Palawan sa mandeklara na matay guihi sa 2 pasahero ni Palawan na lokwe sa mamakoni para Naval Hospital sa Guam Memorial na Hospital. Timatungi kondisyon niya ito sa estapago. Mabababa ha investigasyon pero madetibina ko dumuduri kareta pada nanbatga de kohod pada ambut benenu ni semusedi ikras. Otro artículo te afirma mag-aga luliang grero bio para budget para fiscal na sakan 2022 instead asedia para recahida para lay. Gikatanya si Leon Guerrero para Speaker Teresa Lahi gipangin sablu asangan na uno na rason na te afirma sa procedimento ni Speaker ni atisa islapi ni mananang ga pro halum este 20 milyon pesos mas sa kandalo dyan na rin sibin salapi para maapasi refund ni taxiha. Ilangay gabeto na sentat fundu minauleg niya dyan na rebitaw dyan bronco mampus imas babani dyan na inamendi. Ilangay na ngungung ko legislatura siya gisalapi ni teman siguro na pro sobla gi i-budget. Mapasay budget ni legislatura gidiya 31 de agosto. Ninai 10 dias governo para o fitma para o veto bill para se não sempre mamalai después. Adzo bidane magahaga. Man responde speaker gi na release da sanga na tidebita diteni refund itaw siya. Da taza excusa na tisina guahan anak nalo tatis lapit niya itaw tagi otro na lugar siya. Alanya mas na depe pagi legislatura o masena tendi iman sempre sisyon na tiklusia ni tikanubri ni budget. Para masiguray binali, sa nuna anok tayo mano'y ginasta ni 600 milyon pesos na salapi guahan no gagi gibangko. Para Guam News Network, Guam Sikin Concepcion. Yasuto ifinut sa moro sa presenta sa ninafato ni Familian Mizo gi First Hawaiian Bank.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, where you get smart insights into your finances so you can make smart decisions with your money. With a daily personalized feed, you can compare your monthly income to spending. That's better. Discover where your money is actually going. You might be surprised. See what's essential and what isn't. The more you use the app, the smarter it gets. With insights from the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, it all starts with yes.
Take in the the panoramic beauty of our island each Sunday on the KUM News Instagram with Scenic Sundays. Scroll through the natural beauty of the island on display. Scenic Sundays on the KUM News Instagram is brought to you by Addis Trust and Investment, Location, Service, Trust, and Haagen-Dazs Shops Guam, where every day is made extraordinary.
We know you're tired of hearing about COVID-19. Some of you are probably wondering whether this is ever going to end. However long it takes, we all have to do our part, including our children, to hold the line. You can protect yourself and your family by getting vaccinated.
And if you're already vaccinated, don't let your guard down because you can still give and get COVID-19. And if you're not vaccinated, remember that if you catch the virus, you could suffer more severe complications. At the end of the day, it's the choices we make to protect ourselves, our families, and our community that will control the spread.
We know it sounds repetitive at this point, but again, wash your hands, watch your distance, and wear your mask.
Together, we have to hold the line.
This season of The Voice promises to be the best one yet, with singer Ariana Grande joining the star-studded Coach lineup, including John Legend, Blake Shelton, and Kelly Clarkson.
Happen to see how last season ended? I won.
But that's why I'm here.
To get you hyped up for the big premiere, KUAM Communications are giving you the chance to win $500 daily between September 13th to September 17th for showing us how much you love The Voice. All you have to do is listen to The Link on Breeze 93.9 FM or watch the live stream on Facebook Live, and when prompted, call in with your answer to The Voice Daily Trivia Challenge. And then on premiere day, September 21st, check out KUAM Digital for a special bonus question and another chance to win $500. Visit KUAM.com for official rules and regulations. Some restrictions apply.
The Voice, brought to you locally by First Hawaiian Bank.
See what's on TV tonight with schedules, network news and notes, local promotions and giveaways on KUAM Communications social media pages. Like and follow us on Facebook or Instagram now for all the latest and never miss out.
Do you feel like you're missing out on something? Make life more rewarding with Pacific Points. Earn and redeem points for bill rebates and free load at IT&E, discounts on fuel at Shell, vouchers at Foodies, and United Mileage Plus miles. You can even pay with Pacific Points at IT&E, Shell, and Foodies. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's, offers fully covered loading and unloading area with individual pin-coded gate and door access. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information. The relationship between Guam and Manila, Philippines is undeniable as we share similar cultural traditions, history, and heritage, with generations of Filipinos calling Guam home. KUAM presents a monthly look at the capital city featuring in-depth and engaging interviews on everything from medical tourism to new business and government leaders. Veteran newscaster Nestor Lecanto delivers Beyond Our Borders. This special program is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners.
KUAM's multi-platform morning show, The Link, just got a little more delicious with Feed Me Fridays. Chris, Sabrina, Jason, and the rest of the morning crew will take some time off each Friday to talk, taste, and tempt you with all the latest and greatest food and drinks on Guam. Old faves, new hits, and everything else we can put in our bellies. It's Feed Me Fridays on The Link, brought to you by King's Restaurants, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and Devondale. This season, KUAM Communications is ready to go with more games, more championships, and more sports specials guaranteed to bring out the fan in you. Don't miss a minute of gameplay from NBC on KUAM TV8 or from CBS on KUAM TV11. We're bringing you all the action and excitement brought to you locally by Michelob Ultra, the superior light beer, Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape, and Docomo Pacific.
Catch SportsLink on the KUAM News Morning Show, The Link, every Friday to hear about the latest in sports news, game schedules, athlete profiles, and more. SportsLink, brought to you each week by Pure Alkaline Water and Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape, airs every Friday across the multimedia platforms of KUAM. Tune into the broadcast on Breeze 93.9 FM on KUAM TV 11, live streaming through the KUAM News Facebook page, or view highlights on YouTube, KUAM News Facebook, and Instagram. SportsLink is hosted by Dave Delgado through KUAM Sports, and he will make sure that everyone knows what is is happening on the fields, in the gyms, and everywhere in between.
The Culture Club returns to KOAM Digital and KOAM News Weekend Edition, highlighting Guam's young artists, activists, and crafters as they work to protect, preserve, and promote our Chamorro culture. Watch this weekly feature on the digital platforms of KOAM News Weekend Edition, brought to you by Hanum.
Guam was once home to over 12 native species of forest birds, each with their own unique sound, color, and role to play in our ecosystem. However, the arrival of the brown tree snake has threatened their existence. Today, only 3 of these species still exist in the wild. But what was once lost can be restored. Join the Department of Agriculture's efforts to restore our ecosystem. It is only through partnerships with various organizations and the community that we can give our native birds a future. Support snake suppression.
The world of television is more exciting than ever. Don't miss a minute of special presentations from NBC on KOAM TV8 or from CBS on KOAM TV11. Every month, we'll bring you the fun and excitement of award shows and red carpet moments, special series presentations, and other great network programs. Brought to you locally by King's Restaurant, Ruby Tuesday Guam, Bud Light Seltzer, and Docomo Pacific, giving you more reasons to tune in and turn on. Fall in love with TV again with the best from KUAM Communications.
Looking for TV schedules, upcoming sports, or special presentations, or what you may have missed over the busy week you had? Well, look no further than KOAM Digital Digest. This weekly emailed newsletter puts all kinds of information in the hands of subscribers each and every week. Just subscribe and we will make sure you keep up with your favorites and stay informed and entertained throughout it all. Go to KOAM.com, click on the newsletter tab, give us your email address, and you are all set. Brought to you in digital partnership with King's Restaurant and Ruby Tuesday Guam. It's the KOAM Digital Digest, your weekly guide to the latest information and best entertainment on the stations and platforms of KUAM.
KUAM Communications continues our perpetuation of our Chamorro culture, language, and heritage, with features available to our listening and viewing audience, including streaming of Chamorro music 24 hours per day on Isla Digital Radio on KUAM.com and the KUAM News app. Chamorro News Update, weekdays on The Link and the KUAM News YouTube channel. Conversations about life in our Chamorro language podcast, Cuentos Tapaco, with Kin Conception, seasonal specials, shows, and other features highlighting the beauty of our language, culture, and history. It's a new era of our continued commitment to our Chamorro heritage. Isla, watch, listen, stream. Viva Isla!
Listen, watch, and learn from the daily Chamorro news updates from KUAM News. Catch them on The Link during the 8 o'clock hour, streaming online on Isla Radio, or on the KUAM News YouTube channel for your convenience. Tune in and stay informed, all while preserving our precious culture through the daily use of our native Chamorro language. Chamorro news updates are brought to you by your familia at First Hawaiian Bank.
We got your 6.
At 6 a.m. with The Link on Breeze 93.9 FM. Bree and I connect you with all the latest news and information you need to know to start your day.
Then check back with Guam's news leader at 6 p.m. for the day's top headlines with KUAM News Primetime.
From 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and everything else in between with KUAM Digital, we got your 6. Welcome back to The Link. Good morning, it's 7:04. Monday.
Maybe Tomas can do an Instagram story with all the stuff we talk about during commercial break.
Yeah, that's kind of like the real show, honest.
The play within the play.
Right, 7:05.
Soliloquy.
It's The Link, Pacific Points, Cabo Enterprises, IT&E, and Jack in the Box. Let's bring back an old friend of containing COVID and The Link, Dr. Peter Lombard, crunching COVID stats. You know, we were bringing him on, obviously, during the height of the pandemic, and unfortunately, a lot of his forecasting and data was really on point. But I say unfortunately because he was just predicting a lot of the deaths that we saw in the latter part of the year last year. So every time we'd have him on, Bree would be like, I don't know if I want to do this right now. I don't know if I'm ready. And I mean, we're laughing about it now because that's just a coping mechanism. But yeah, it was crazy, Doc, because you
on point.
You were right. And so here we are. What is this week? This is week 7, right, of this surge?
Yeah.
Week 7 of this surge. Yeah. And I can't believe I forgot to give you a ring this whole time. And it hit me last week when we had Dr. Ann on. I was like, hey, there's someone else that does charts and graphs and is pretty good at it too, Dr. Peter Lombard. So welcome back. And we know that you've been pretty busy, so we're going to go ahead and give you the floor. And if you want to just share what you got with us this morning, then we'll ask you a bunch of tough questions.
Awesome. Thank you. And I have quite a few slides. I'll try to get them quickly, but please feel free to jump in and stop me, ask questions along the way. I think that's more important than just getting through everything. But you have the slideshow up?
Yep, good to go.
Okay. Well, where are we now? And I'm not personally tracking the data anymore. It was a little bit cumbersome and difficult to get the data that I thought was interesting. So thank you, Chris, for telling me about Dr. Pavetsky's presentation. I really enjoyed watching her slides, and I've actually screenshotted a few of them because I think they're worth talking about a little bit more. But here's where we are. This is the United States. You can see in September of last year, we were the worst state in the nation, and we did much better along the way, while the rest of the nation had a big surge in December, January. We did fairly well through the summer until recently, where we're one of the worst states in the nation again. And if you look at on the y-axis, we're at about 100 cases per 100,000 people. I think it's probably a little bit more than that now. As we're seeing, numbers in the 200s fairly regularly, close to 200 a day last week. If you compare us to on the global scale, these are all the countries in the world. 100 is right where I put Guam here on the right. So even worldwide, we're one of the worst in terms of the number of cases per capita. We're one of the worst places for COVID right now. It was interesting to see among these countries that are doing the worst, there were quite a few island nations, and I don't know if that there's something more to that. Maybe there's something about being on an island with a Delta wave that makes it a little bit more difficult to control. That was a little bit reassuring to me. You can see St. Lucia, Seychelles, even down in this area here, St. Kitts, a lot of islands in the Bahamas, in the Caribbean. So, but it is interesting to see where we are, and perhaps even a little bit comforting. It's bad that we're there, but you don't see many other countries doing much worse. So maybe that means this is the worst of it. That's the only silver lining I can find there. But it does feel a bit like Groundhog Day. We've been through this before, and now we have to figure out how many restrictions are we willing to put on ourselves to try to keep this under control and stop our health hospitals from getting overfilled. So the tough questions, I'm going to try to address today. Why is this happening? What should we do about our schools? Are we able to keep our kids safe? And so many questions about the vaccine. Why are we seeing so many fully vaccinated cases and admissions? What is the efficacy of the vaccine against the Delta variant? And what's the deal with the booster shot? So here's a screenshot of Dr. Pavetsky's. This is her data through August, and this is the one that showed hospitalizations and ICU. I was really a little sad to see it stop on August 31st, because the last week or so has been even more dramatic, I think. And I try to keep the scale. So 40 here, 80 would be about up here on the left. We're at 76 at least through the weekend. We didn't have the Naval Hospital data, so it might be around this area. But this is how high these bars would extend if the data were more current. But curiously, the ICU is still fairly flat, which is fantastic. And that's one of the bright spots here and what's happening. So why is this happening? I mean, I think public health has, I'll call them challenges. I think I think I was pretty honest. I didn't expect a Delta surge like this, and I bet you not many experts even really did.
Yeah.
The Delta is it's just a force, and it's so transmittable. Thankfully, not necessarily more virulent in terms of how sick it makes you, but it is tremendously more transmittable to a level that nobody really had expected. The only good thing about that, by the way, is that it's so transmittable that even if there's a variant like the Mu variant you might have heard of that is more resistant to the vaccines, the Mu can't outcompete the Delta variant to transmit to people. So it probably won't ever be a real issue. So I thought that was an interesting thing that I read about the other day. So public health, I think everybody is frustrated, especially in our community. The contact tracing, I know the public sees this too. You know, you're positive, you test positive, you just can't get any information. When can I go to work? When are my children okay? When am I cleared? How do I get official notification? And a lot of patients are calling the doctors and asking them, and we're giving them the best advice we can. So I think that the whole contact tracing, it feels like it's maybe non-existent or
Yeah.
just they just maybe even thrown their hands up and said forget about it. And
Doc,
I read in Texas that they've officially said we're not contact tracing anymore. So I don't know what's better.
Yeah.
Just to say we're going to focus on other things, or to say we're still trying our best and we'll do what we can for the clusters or something like that. You know.
Doc, let me get in. Sorry, we had Chima on. I want to say it was a couple weeks ago, and he had come on and he said the pivot with public health was you're right, that the COVID, it's just everywhere. It's rampant. It's widespread in the community. And so he said contact tracing is kind of pointless at this point. So the pivot was they're telling everyone to go get tested. And if you test positive, then you're supposed to notify everyone you've had close contact with to go get tested. And so that's presented. And you mentioned challenges. One of the challenges is if you go to tell everyone to get tested, then you're going to have people going to get tested, and what we've seen is a huge backup over here at Tizen. And
I wish the messaging was a little bit better or more public. I think there's a lot of people that don't know that that's official. Maybe they don't want to be that open about it, but if that's what they're truly doing, I think people need to know that, and they need to provide us with very clear, easy resources about so every person that knows exactly what to do if they were a close contact. The testing is I think we're doing a decent job of testing. The question is what kind of tests are we using, and I don't have a whole lot of data on that. And getting the data out. I mean, again, this presentation from Dr. Babetsky was great. I do wish it was a little bit more current, and this is the kind of stuff that I love to see, and I think a lot of people it would really help them to understand what's happening if we were able to see this kind of data a little bit more regularly or on our dashboard. There are mitigating factors here with what's happening. The hospitalizations this time around are spread out amongst the 3 hospitals a bit more, including amongst the 3 ICUs. So that's a change from last year. So I don't feel like we're quite at the point where we need to ration care at any one of the hospitals. And remarkably, our ICUs and our vent rates are exceedingly low, and that's due to the vaccine. Our cases are very, very likely to be undercounted by a wide margin. So you can look at our test positivity. The higher test positivity, the more cases you're missing. Okay, some mild symptoms or no symptoms. And so there was a formula that I was using, and if I apply that formula to our test positivity and our numbers, let's say 200 cases in a day, the true cases are probably something more like 1,500. So just to give you an idea of how much more likely this is out there in the community, and why, again, contact tracing is almost a fool's errand to try to even try to tackle. Now, if we were not 70% population vaccinated right now, that's an approximation, but we would be seeing, like you alluded to before, many, multiple times worse than we are now. And I can say that, but if people don't believe that, I don't know what else to do. If we were all unvaccinated right now, things would be looking a lot worse. And this is, again, because of the Delta. If we didn't suppress the surge last year where we did with the Alpha variant or the earlier variants, we would have been training on, a trajectory which saw us hit maybe close to 150 deaths by the end of the year. But things came down, and we were able to get through a number of months. But now with the Delta variant, thank goodness, we did flatten the curve early on, and now we're dealing with something new that not many people expected or or had anticipated.
Doc, this
So
is
next-
if we could,
Yeah.
before we move on, we asked this question to Dr. Pobutsky about a lockdown, right? Because just people have it in their head that that's what worked last time, and if we're in this situation we are now, even with the vaccines, people feel that the restrictions that are currently in place aren't doing anything, and I would agree to lower the case count. So we had a comment here. Does Doc feel that a lockdown is needed to stem the spread?
I think it would. I mean, I don't think it's needed per se. I'm being optimistic here, but I do think that we're going to start to see a downturn. I've been wrong about that before. Even a month ago, I would have thought that we were starting to plateau. So, but I at this point, you've seen a few efforts by the governor 2 weeks ago to try to slow things down, and it really didn't do anything. And I think it would have to be a really dramatic lockdown, and again, the public backlash would be severe. And if our numbers are starting to trend down, which I think we'll hopefully start to see over the next week, then I would suggest that we don't have to do something that significant, given that our ICUs are okay and our cases, although our hospitalizations are spread out over 3 hospitals. So we're not rationing care like they are in some states. Idaho, I've heard Arkansas, ICU level care, people that need routine procedures, tumor resections, that they can't get their care now because their hospitals are so full. I sorry for the blur here. This is another slide that I took from Dr. Pobutsky, where she showed the age groups. And I do want to highlight this because I think it's very important for people to understand. It is absolutely true that the age group of 0 to 31 is driving the surge. There's no question that that's what's happening. And it's the least vaccinated age group as well. So the only good things about this is that, these are healthier people. They're going to have better outcomes. And once they're exposed and naturally immune, they've got pretty darn strong immunity to future exposures. But the cons is that it's making this a lot harder for the rest of us, and especially those that are in the older age groups that have comorbidities, that are at higher risk of having a breakthrough infection that is serious, because it can happen, especially the longer that we've been vaccinated because of the waning immunity. So I wanted to make sure I highlighted that's very important. This one is the one that shows the vaccinated versus unvaccinated cases. And you can see, so the orange is the unvaxxed, blue is vaccinated cases. And this is cool because I never seen anything like this. And you can kind of look at the JIC report and get an idea of how many hospitalizations. But the JIC report the cases looks to be pretty similar. We're going anywhere from between a third to a half of all of our cases are people that are vaccinated. Okay, so at least through August. And I'm talking to Dr. Nguyen, and he just kind of anecdotally shares with what's happening in their clinic. It's a lot higher at his clinic, apparently. He's maybe even seeing 70%, 80% some days of all the positive tests being in fully vaccinated people. So I was kind of glad to see, if you look at all comers and you're incorporating the testing that's happening at public health and other places, it's not that bad. But at the same time, I also think it's really important to start the messaging. This is normal and expected for this percentage to continue to increase, that the percent that are vaccinated of the total is going to keep getting higher and higher the more people are vaccinated. And I have to be really, I want to be urgent in that message. I don't want people to look at that as a failure of the vaccination. I mean, on one extreme, imagine 100% of Guam is vaccinated. Then whatever cases we see are breakthrough cases, and 100% of them are going to be from vaccinated people. So this percentage is going to keep going up higher and higher the more people that are vaccinated. This is something that I made a little infographic. I was proud of myself. There's an app that let me do this, but this is the hospitalization from Friday, a little infographic here. So about 38% of our admissions, and we don't know 3 of them, the vaccination status. And I think a lot of people are looking at this and are saying, what's going on here? And again, this goes back to the last point. The curious thing about this is why in Guam but not necessarily in Hawaii or really any other state. And I've been really looking at this data more than anything over the last 2 to 3 weeks, because our numbers have been 30-40% for a week or two now, and I'm not seeing it very many other places. But we are seeing it in some places, just not necessarily in the United States. In fact, in the UK, recent data, 30 to 50% of hospitalizations are fully vaccinated. In Israel, 1/2 to 2/3 of severe cases are fully vaccinated. In Iceland, 50 to 70% fully vaccinated. Singapore, 60%. So we're not completely alone. And what do all these places have in common? Very high vaccination rates. These are very well vaccinated countries. Okay, so it's again, what I don't understand yet is why there's states that are very well vaccinated that still aren't showing the same thing. But I think there's reasons for it, and mostly related to how early we got a lot of vaccine in Guam, and how many people. I think we had a lot of people vaccinated in December, January, compared to most of the other states. And I think you guys, if you remember, we were very proud of ourselves for getting so much vaccine on island, and we were able to push those out to the point where we're worried about running out. I think that's probably the biggest reason why there's a difference between Guam and the rest of the United States when it comes to this percentage.
So let me just cut in. So basically what you're saying is because we vaccinated such a big chunk of our population, and mind you guys, remember who we vaccinated first? It was the frontline workers and the Manamko, right? The elderly. Because we vaccinated so many people at the onset, that the protection that we got with the vaccine is fading right along with everyone else who administered a lot of shots early.
That's right. That's right. So, and this is all ties into the waning immunity, which I think is an important thing to talk about now. So this is Israeli data again. Israel is one of the, if not the best country in terms of early vaccination and vaccinating a lot of their people. So if you look here on the 60 plus bar graph here, these are infections that were documented from July, the latter half of July. If you had your vaccination in January, this is how many people per 100 per capita got COVID in July. And this is if you got your vaccination in February, March, April, May. So you can see how once you get to 6 months vaccinated, your risk of getting COVID is much higher than if you're just 1 or 2 months vaccinated. And guess what? We're at like 8 or 9 months now for some of the earliest people here. And this is only showing 6 months of data. So now here's the good news. Even with waning immunity, even at 6 months, you're still 5 to 6 times less likely to be hospitalized than if you're unvaccinated. It used to be 10 to 20 times more better protection, but even with that 10 to 20 times decrease in protection, you're still many magnitudes less likely to be hospitalized if you're vaccinated with the waning immunity. So this is another screenshot from Dr. Ann. This is the one, and this one is super blurry. I just couldn't get this to clear up anymore. This is the ethnicity one. Remember she was saying how the Chamorro ethnic group is responsible for the most of the, and I don't know if she's watching, but if she can, hopefully she can check my numbers here. I think this is Chamorros, and then Chuukis, Filipinos here, and then Caucasians here. So it is absolutely true that, but if you look at the total numbers, absolutely that most of the cases are in Chamorros. But then, you got to think a little bit further and say, well, what is the proportion of Chamorros in the population? Well, we know it's about 38%, right? Well, I did my best to try to estimate what these numbers are, and I added up all of the blue bars. So all of the unvaccinated infections from December to August 30th, and I got about 2320, and I was just trying to eyeball it. And if you look at, this is about 780 Chamorros out of that 2,320, and it's about 33%. So I think proportionally to the island's natural ethnic diversity, I actually don't think it's unusual to see this number, and I hope she can double check this for me and tell me if it's accurate or not. But I don't think, at least from the way I look at this, the messaging is it's all your fault because just because you're unvaccinated. I mean, if there are a lot, I've heard 50% Chamorros are not vaccinated. That's certainly playing a role, but it's not proportionally different than what our normal mix is for the population. So moving on to schools, closure two weeks ago. I think it's still kind of early for it to have had any real effect. If it has, it's been very marginal. And as you can see, the numbers have continued to increase. So obviously it didn't really. I think it's clear that the community transmission is driving our surge right now. So it would have been nice to see some more recent data, really within the last week, I think, about what is the proportion of the cases that are in school-age kids versus the 18 to 30 group. If a lot of those were in the younger school-age groups, then you might say, okay, the schools being open for that period of time had had a big impact, and maybe we'd even start to see some changes in that proportion. Where do we stand? These are questions I have. I mean, I don't know, who has this information, but how is mask use and physical distancing being enforced in the schools? What is the classroom ventilation? And is it different from school to school, classroom to classroom? Is there somebody that goes and looks and offers suggestions and helps people build even makeshift ventilation devices that can assist? Do we have surveillance testing? I don't know the answer to that. I don't think so, but some of the school systems that have done a really nice job of staying open and safe have surveillance testing. They'll test an entire classroom once a week. It's not perfect. Obviously it's gonna miss some cases, but it's one more piece of the puzzle that makes a difference. The other strategy I've seen is having a dedicated contact tracing mechanism for kids. I saw in San Francisco, they outsourced this to an organization. They pay for it. I mean, sure, it's expensive, but if a kid has either close contact or is positive, they contact this separate group, so they don't have to deal with the public health, drama, and they're obviously completely overwhelmed. So they have this dedicated resource they can go to that gives them the advice that they need. Do we have to do school closures, all the way across the board, or can you selectively close schools? I know that's a little bit loaded. Public schools maybe have a bit more resources to be able to devote to this, and maybe their cases are lower. Is that fair necessarily? But maybe even not selected schools, but selected grade levels or classrooms where you're seeing outbreaks. Is that better than closing schools completely? So obviously, even with open schools, we still have to close things down temporarily. Whole classrooms have to be quarantined. And obviously, this is very disruptive to parents as well too. Now, when it comes to the question of school, I have to say I'm extremely torn. Okay, there are real harms to not allowing kids to be in face-to-face schooling. This is some data about kids falling behind. Okay, so in relationship to historical test scores, this is the decrease in test scores. So amongst students of color, reading K through 5, 77% compared to where there would have been at 100%. White students at 90%. So you can see the disproportional effect of being a person of color or a child of color. But look at even all the way down to math. Look how much math is suffering because of school closures. So these are real things, and I don't know. Are we going to be able to catch up? And a lot of these especially if you're in a low income group where education is everything. We keep encouraging our kids to get the education so you can go and move on to that next thing. How much is this year or two of not being in person going to affect them for the rest of their life? And it's important. I don't know, relative to kids dying of COVID, relative to a lot of these other harms that can happen, 1 million primary caregivers have died from COVID. I mean, I have to think that if I was a child, having a primary caregiver die is going to be way more impactful than being home from school for a year.
Yeah.
I mean, so, these are competing interests, and 400 kids have died of COVID to date. About, if we have 1 or 2 children in Guam die, that's a big deal, I think. And I think most people do too, but other people wouldn't necessarily think so. They say, well, we're in a pandemic, guys. This is part of what's going to happen. We got to take care of the other kids too. I'm sorry that happened. So these are questions I think everybody's going to feel a little bit differently about. But I wanted to make sure I highlighted the fact that there are absolute harms with keeping kids out of school.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, in 20 years, we're going to be dealing with these whole generations of people who the last couple years, right? And people are like, hey, what's wrong with them? Oh, they're a COVID kid. Yeah, they didn't have masks for 2 years.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some kids that are named Delta this year either.
Oh no.
No. So can schools be reopened safely? This is San Francisco data. This is when their schools open, and these are the groups of kids, school-age kids up to 18 in the pink here. The elementary schools are down here, and their cases are continuing to decrease. So it is possible. It is absolutely possible to open schools and keep the numbers down amongst the classrooms. There are some caveats. Well, they are pretty close to where we are in Guam in terms of total vaccinated. 90% of their kids that are 12 to 16 are vaccinated. Of eligible kids are vaccinated. They do a great job with masking, and they have this surveillance testing and dedicated contact tracing. But they're notably not dealing with the surge in the community like we are. So I think there are some caveats there. But I think it is important for people to know that it is possible it is possible to keep schools open. But whether or not we have the resources to be able to do so safely, that's another question. The American Academy of Pediatrics, everybody needs to know this too. We should start with the goal of keeping students safe and physically present in school. This is their official position. They want, if whatever you have to do to make it safe, keep the kids in school, because they're seeing the harms of keeping kids out of school. So it just makes things more complicated for us here. This is a recent morbidity and mortality report from the CDC, and this shows us the key points here. Moderna is, with this waning immunity and immunity against Delta, it looks like Moderna is a little bit better than Pfizer, and both are better than Johnson & Johnson by a fair amount, but all of them are better than being unvaccinated against Delta. This is specifically against Delta, because this is only cases from June to August in 9 states. We know this is Delta. So I think there's a little bit of a difference between the two mRNAs. I think there's possibly some reasons for that. We know that the Moderna dose is a little bit higher. Pfizer chose a lesser dose, hopefully to decrease the side effects. And that, you might have heard this too, but the 3-week spacing versus the 4-week spacing, that might actually be pretty critical in terms of a more robust response to the second dose. And even in England, they have been forcing people to wait 2 to 3 months, because they know that the immune response, if you wait longer for the second dose, is going to be higher. And that's why I think maybe England is doing a little bit better than Israel, for example. Israel kept the 3-week dosing. So the dose and timing might be responsible for the little bit of difference between Moderna and Pfizer. But again, the key point here, they're all still working against Delta compared to being unvaccinated, even with waning immunity. This is real preliminary data on the booster. Okay, so people, how effective is this booster? These are people here in this group of cohorts, no booster. And these are people here with the booster, and this is the number of cases that we're seeing now. So it's extremely protective to get the booster shot. Now, of course, we don't know how long it's going to last, and this is part of the ongoing issue with this novel coronavirus. And these new vaccines, there's still things we're learning every day. I think there's good reason to believe and to hope that this one booster is going to last a long time, and we won't have to keep going back for boosters every few months. So again, coming back to our initial questions, why is this happening? I think we definitely have waning immunity. We vaccinated ourselves well and very early. We have a lot fewer restrictions out there. I think there are also some super spreader cluster events, which I've heard about anecdotally, that I think are probably maybe the most important reason why we have such a surge right now on an island. Public health has had its challenges, and the high proportion of new cases and hospitalizations being fully vaccinated is not unique to Guam. People need to know that, and expected to continue to increase the more people we have vaccinated. Can we keep our kids safe? I think the goal should be to open our schools if we can. We need to give the schools more resources. Maybe some of that extra pot of money that they're spending on tourism, maybe consider using that for the schools, because I think that should be a big priority for us. We do have to get our economy going. I get that, but let's not forget about the kids either. Yes, the vaccine is still efficacious against Delta, even 6 to 8 months, even without the booster, but the booster will help significantly. I'd say do it for the kids, but I think for people that are anti-vaccine, I don't even think that's going to really resonate with them, because they're going to say kids do so well against it. It's like, sure, you're seeing more cases in the kids, but they're all going to do fine. This is, again, you either believe the data or you don't. I think that's some of the problem. You can show them the same data, and they just don't believe it. They think there's reasons why, that's why, there's different reasons. Those aren't true cases and this and that. So I don't know what to say. If you don't believe the data, then I guess that's where the conversation has to stop, I guess.
There's so many different schools of like and I don't like calling it anti-vax, because you got some people don't want to take it because they're health conscious or whatever, and they're vegan, and they don't, you know what I mean? They just don't do that kind of thing. Then you got the other people who are like, it's a government conspiracy. Then you got the other people who are like, we don't have enough data on whether or not it's safe, and we should have have an informed choice, right? So it's definitely,
Yeah, that's true. There are many reasons, and the vocal folks that have a lot of questions and concerns or are not swayed yet, they're very influential, and I think that it's the classic. You're in an echo chamber where you're only talking to people who think like you, and I don't know. I think you really need to go to the hospitals. If you don't believe that these hospitalizations are from COVID, prove it by going to the hospital, look at these cases that are being admitted, and see what kind of illnesses there. There's even people in the hospital that don't think they have COVID. They think it's something else, and so how do you combat that? I don't know. Now, this last graph here just shows that these are all the states. This is the percent vaccinated in the states on the x-axis, and these are the hospitalization numbers for kids. And so you can clearly see the trend here. The more vaccinated people you have in your state, the less pediatric hospitalizations you're going to have. Again, we thankfully don't have a lot of kids that have died from this, but we're going to continue to see more in low numbers, and that is a big tragedy. So my optimistic outlook here is that we have already peaked. That's my optimistic outlook, and that's based on the bad news and the good news that we're as bad as I've seen anywhere right now. The other positive thing to take from where we are now is that we've got a lot of people with hybrid immunity. We know now that natural immunity actually gives pretty good defense, and then if you get vaccinated on top of that, you're like super protected. And I think that if you're vaccinated and then you get exposed, I think you're also even more protected than if you had been vaccinated. It might even be as good as a booster shot. So I think we have a lot more people with hybrid immunity. You look at 1,500 cases potentially every day out there. A lot of those people are vaccinated too. So I think overall we're continuing to protect ourselves. We will see a booster effect once that gets out to us. I think maybe another 5 deaths as we're trending down this surge, and we still have an opportunity to continue to vaccinate people that we haven't been able to reach yet. The pessimistic outlook is that we still see cases rising. I can't see it going more than double would be shocking over the current numbers, and we may get to the point where our hospitals, one or all of them, have to ration care, 20, 30 more deaths, and maybe a pediatric death or two. That would be kind of the pessimistic outlook, which I don't think we're moving in that direction. I think that downplaying the seriousness of COVID and not trusting the data, I don't know what to say. I mean, if people have questions, true questions, and they don't know what to believe, and I think that's a big challenge. They don't know what to believe. They hear somebody that they respect and they trust saying one thing, and then they hear something on the other side from somebody else that they trust. Well, what do you do with that? And some people don't have the tools to be able to really figure out what's the right answer here and what the truth is. So, my take-home points would be, I hope you can believe that the young age groups, which are largely unvaccinated, they are driving the Delta surge in Guam. I hope that's believable, just by taking the ages of the people that are testing positive. Okay, and this has led to full hospitals that are full of both vaccinated breakthrough cases and unvaccinated. But the people that are dying are the ones that are unvaccinated, mostly. Okay, even though we are seeing breakthrough cases, you're still more protected than being unvaccinated. So if you're not vaccinated, you're contributing to the surge. I don't know, maybe that's going to resonate. I don't know. The U.S. COVID deaths is, 9/11, I don't know, I've seen a lot of stories the past couple of days, and it's been very emotional taking yourself back to that day and that moment. And they had, close to 3,000 deaths, which was like, holy crap, 3,000 deaths. I mean, you can kind of wrap your head around that. But as the COVID deaths started getting higher and higher, it just became like, yeah, you don't even care anymore, and we've seen in the United States alone 220 9/11 deaths. That's how incredible, that's how dramatic and how many deaths that we've had. And again, you just can't even wrap your head around that. Imagine going through a 9/11 every day consecutively for 220 days. And I think that's pretty impactful. And going back to the Groundhog Day, how did Groundhog Day end? Jason knows. Jason, how did Groundhog Day end? Do you remember?
It repeated.
How did he finally break the cycle? He stopped being selfish. Yeah. He started caring about other people, and I think that there's a lesson there that if even though we have these personal reasons that make sense to us, and if you can trust somebody that they're telling you data that's true, and we're saying if we're all vaccinated, we're going to be better off, and if we use that, take that idea and say let's think about each other and do this together, then maybe we can finally break out of this Groundhog Day cycle.
So there's my question for you, Doc, because and I like the phrase you used earlier, and you said there's a certain amount of the population who because of the lack of faith in data, or they just haven't been proven. They said they haven't been swayed yet. Key elements. So do you feel as a health practitioner that the crux of the work should now be like towards education to try and get people on that on that way of thinking, because there are going to be some people, and this is a proven point, who either because of healthcare concerns or because of faith beliefs and everything like that, they just cannot. Nothing in the world is gonna allow them to do that. But for the people who have not, and I'm an advertising major, so I'm thinking of trying to encourage people to change their buying decision, if you will. So, but from a healthcare standpoint, should there be a more concerted effort to try and say, let's get the message to you to let you confidently take the vaccine?
Yeah. Well, I think that there's a selective tune out when they start hearing messages that go against what they believe. I think there are plenty of videos out there of people who are against being vaccinated, and once they're in the hospital, they're suffering and they're intubated or about to be intubated, and they say, there's plenty of videos that show them saying, I'm sorry, that's how I felt, and I wish I hadn't thought that way. Please get vaccinated. There's so many videos like that. But if you wanted to even show that to somebody who that didn't really fit what they believed, I don't think they would want to listen to or watch it. And so I think that there's going to be a selective just tuning out. Even if you did try, we may not be very we may not have much chance at all to try to reach some of the people that are still holding out from being vaccinated, and I don't know what to do about that. I've had some success with some of my patients just when I find out they're not vaccinated, just to talk to them a little bit more. But that's just that's who I can influence where I am. But yeah, it's a tough question.
It is, because some people I could tell, like after the third question, I'm like, okay, I'm not trying to get into a debate here. You know what I mean? If you don't want to take it, fine, don't take it. Doc, we had one last comment. I don't know if you want to touch on this before you go. Dr. Lombard, share your thoughts on compassion fatigue.
I'm sorry?
Compassion fatigue, is that a thing?
Compassion fatigue. So I'm assuming they mean
with frontliners, probably
feeling compassionate for the frontliners,
or maybe just frontliners saying, "God, we got you guys out of this mess last year, and now you don't want to get the shot."
Yeah,
can't even with you guys.
I'm not in their shoes, and they're the ones that are really putting this on their back. And if we do things like asking if we're going to try to keep schools open, for example, if we're not going to lock down, we're basically asking the frontliners to keep doing what they're doing for as long as it's going to take, and that things might get worse. And that's a lot to ask, but perhaps that's still the least of the evils that we have to face right now, and trying to balance all of these other considerations. It's not easy. There's no easy answers here, and I think that that we do need to be mindful of what our frontliners are going through right now, and it hasn't been easy for them the past few weeks, that's for sure. I think we need to bring Dr. Uggan back on. I think we need to see in her face, what she's going through now and what she's seeing in the hospitals.
Well, that's what we're working on. Thank you, Doc. God bless you. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Pete.
There you go. Yeah. When you talk about...
That was good stuff.
Yeah, it was. Guys, this is going to be one of those interviews you want to go back and watch, because he just touched on pretty much everything. All the major questions. Why are vaccinated people in the hospital? What's up with the vaccine? Is it working?
And yet there were three major bullet points, if you want to say, like takeaways and everything like that. Filter it all down to its its simplest form and everything like that. The vaccine is working. Yes, we are coming out of the tail end of vaccination. Is waning and everything like that. But if you took it, you're still substantially less susceptible from getting infected.
Yeah. So there were just a lot of points in there. He talked about the vaccine's strength really being, 1 to 2, 3, maybe up to 6 months after you take it. And so I feel like we're kind of in this real dangerous window where a lot of people are vulnerable because they took the vaccine early on, right? And that's exactly what Dr. Lombard thinks too.
We have a request here. Ira in our comments says, can someone from KUAM go to the hospital and do a report like the live report you guys did for All Rise?
Right on.
You willing to go on site again, Chris?
I'm down as long as I got 5 sets of PPEs and an astronaut helmet. All right. We'll put in the ask. It's 7:45. We're going to take a quick break, and we're coming back with the Mayor's Council of Guam next, right here on The Link. Good morning.
The world of television.
This season of The Voice promises to be the best one yet, with singer Ariana Grande joining the star-studded coach lineup, including John Legend, Blake Shelton, and Kelly Clarkson.
Happen to see how last season ended? I won.
But that's why I'm here.
To get you hyped up for the big premiere, KUAM Communications are giving you the chance to win $500 daily between September 13th to September 17th for showing us how much you love The Voice. All you have to do is listen to The Link on Breeze 93.9 FM or watch the live stream on Facebook Live, and when prompted, call in with your answer to The Voice Daily Trivia Challenge. And then on premiere day, September 21st, check out KUAM Digital for a special bonus question and another chance to win $500. Visit KUAM.com for official rules and regulations. Some restrictions apply.
The Voice, brought to you locally by First Hawaiian Bank.
We know you're tired of hearing about COVID-19. Some of you are probably wondering whether this is ever going to end. However long it takes, we all have to do our part, including our children, to hold the line. You can protect yourself and your family by getting vaccinated.
And if you're already vaccinated, don't let your guard down, because you can still give and get COVID-19. And if you're not vaccinated, remember that if you catch the virus, you could suffer more severe complications. At the end of the day, it's the choices we make to protect ourselves, our families, and our community that will control the spread.
We know it sounds repetitive at this point, but again, wash your hands, watch your distance, and wear your mask.
Together, we have to hold the line. The KUAM Podcast Network is back and on demand, featuring a great variety of podcasts from our island and region, including culture, lifestyle, awareness, crime, politics, commentary, comedy, and entertainment. Available on most streaming platforms. The KUAM Podcast Network. Subscribe and listen now.
Take in the panoramic beauty of our island each Sunday on the KUM News Instagram with Scenic Sundays. Scroll through the natural beauty of the island on display. Scenic Sundays on the KUM News Instagram is brought to you by Addis Trust and Investment, Location, Service, Trust, and Haagen-Dazs Shops Guam, where every day is made extraordinary.
The relationship between Guam and Manila, Philippines is undeniable, as we share similar cultural traditions, history, and heritage, with generations of Filipinos calling Guam home. KUAM presents a monthly look at the capital city, featuring in-depth and engaging interviews on everything from medical tourism to new business and government leaders. Veteran newscaster Nestor Lecanto delivers Beyond Our Borders. This special program is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners. GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's, offers fully covered loading and unloading area with individual pin-coded gate and door access. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app. Got a question about your finances? You've come to the right place. Bring all your accounts together, even those that aren't with us, and see the big picture, right down to the smallest detail. Unlock powerful tools like Insights and Money Map that help you save time and take control of your finances. When you connect accounts with the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, it all starts with yes.
Double fight vibing like this. Now we be loving from the dark into dawning. Now I'm looking in your eyes in the morning. Then you look at me, girl, and smile. Cause you know I treat you right all the while. Nowhere else in the world I'd be. No more beautiful women I've seen. Where the sky is clear and the grass is green. Island girls, you are man's best dream. shake your body. Baby girl, I love you when you call me Big Papi. Oh, yeah, yeah. Love the way that you move me, move me. Oh yeah, girl. Love the way you move me, Island girl. Love the way that you do me tonight, Ooh. Ooh. If I and I had one, we nasty booty island. Come on, the beach all around. What y'all can do, man?
Hey, welcome back. Good morning. It's the Link. 751. We did have a caller, 637-0094. Ma'am, thank you so much for holding. Sorry. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
How can we help you?
I find out from Dr. Lombard about the one at differential, that the one for that IV thing, only for people that cannot.
You're talking about the
monoclonal?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you start over and phrase your question, ma'am, again?
Okay. I was asking. I wanted to ask about the one that Bree was talking about. The one with the IV.
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to ask that question is because I have a sister. I tested positive, and my sister tested positive, and she went and got that thing done. So she got her thing tested up at P10, and they gave her that paper to. I don't know if it was in the public health, and I was asking about it. They recommend it, and I'm confused.
I'm sorry.
You kind of broke up there.
Up
so
now.
can you go back? So your sister tested positive at T-Gen?
Yes. And they sent her to GRMC to get that IV thing because she was weak. So I tested positive and did it in public health.
Okay.
And I asked about that too, and they said they don't recommend it. So I'm confused. Is it good or is it not good?
Well, I think there's certain eligibility requirements. Bree?
Did they ask you if you met certain criteria? Was it a doctor who told you it wasn't good, or was it?
Yeah, it was a doctor that told me, but I don't know if she didn't ask me questions about myself.
She just told.
So,
yeah, so you were
I was
told
the one who brought it up.
Oh, okay. I was going to say you were told you're positive, and you asked, "Well, what about this monoclonal antibody treatment? Is it good for me?" And she told you, "No, don't do it. It's not good."
Yeah, she doesn't recommend it.
Did she say why she didn't recommend it?
No, that's why I'm calling because, like right now, I'm already going on my 5th day of quarantine, but I'm having like a swell in my throat, so it's like giving me anxiety, like having a hard time breathing because I haven't slept right up to now. So I haven't slept. So I wanted to ask Dr. Lombard if I should call the doctor of public health that spoke to me, or should I call my primary doctor?
Yeah, ma'am, if you're having any difficulty breathing at all, you should definitely call your doctor.
So that's the reason why, the weekend I've actually noticed where they have this thing where people going to a lot of events because of they have children that caught it and you can't help them. So when I tried to call on the weekend, how do you get a hold of people that takes care of people? They say that they do. I called Homeland Security. I did. And that's how I got tested. I already knew that they don't do contact tracing.
Yeah.
My daughter caught the COVID. I said they don't contact tracing. You have to get up and do it yourself.
Yeah, actually, Dr. Ho is listening, and he said, please go to the emergency room.
Okay, because I was going to call, GRMC and ask about that. I called last week, and they said it doesn't open until Monday, so they open at 8 o'clock. So I was gonna call, and I actually was trying to get a hold of him.
Right, yeah.
Actually.
Well, Dr. Hoa is listening. Thank you for listening, Doc. And he recommends that you go to the emergency room.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. It's how it is, Chris. When you go and breathe, you go to the emergency room. You just don't want to be in there.
Of course, you don't want to be in there, man. But we hear so much about people who 1 minute it's like, oh, their throat is tight, and then the next minute they're dead on arrival or they're being hooked up to a ventilator. So this thing can turn.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It knocks you, to quote somebody.
Because I know I am. I don't know, Doc. I'm taking my pump. I am asthmatic.
Oh, see, that's even worse. Go to the ER. Stop trying to argue with the doctor, okay? He's the doctor, you're not. Okay?
Okay, person, breathe.
Please, ma'am, please.
I'm not going to argue.
Okay.
I will do it, but thank you. The doctor, that's what I needed. So I can, honestly, I'm afraid to go in.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be afraid.
You got to do it.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Let us know how it turns out after, okay?
Okay.
Make sure you promise, Menenzuas.
No, I'm getting ready now. I'm going to head out.
Call us
Okay.
tomorrow,
Thank
please.
you. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, you guys be safe.
You too. There you go. 7:56.
I can't believe somebody at Public Health would tell her not to get them on.
I don't even know what's going on anymore.
After they've been pushing for it. Like, that doesn't make sense.
7:57. Let's get the Mayor's Council of Guam president.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Mayor.
Hey, Mayor.
Good morning. Happy birthday, Chris.
Thank you. Thank you. Right on. Appreciate it. There goes all the hard questions.
Yeah.
I don't know. You get the feeling like, is it? I feel like I'm in a dream. Are you sure this is not a dream?
Like we're getting punked or something?
Like we're getting punked, like we're in a Delta surge and the governor's not doing anything about it because we're just getting punked. And she's going to call me like, hi, I got you guys. Oh, boy. Where's Ashton Kutcher? Is he around somewhere? Yeah, I don't know, Mayor. What are you tracking, though? Are you tracking any? Because I know that when there are restrictions coming down, a lot of times the governor will have meetings with people. Have you heard anything over the weekend? Or
Nothing over the weekend. Nothing since the Thursday, Friday that we all heard about. Yeah, nothing new. Of course, on the municipal side, the facilities are they're really just kind of closed. It just really depends on the usage. I know that parks, we're still allowing people to use the parks to get out to exercise, and there are still some sports practices, kind of depending on the type of sport and making sure that it's no contact. But recreational usage for like parties, I know for sure most of those facilities are closed. So yeah, none of that has actually changed. Kind of still the same.
What about the Senior Citizen Center? Wasn't it October?
That's been October 1st was our target date, but you know what? We have to prepare. I was sharing with everyone else that we really should prepare for the rest of this first semester of school to not really be too in a hurry to open the centers, simply because we have to juggle our staff, and people don't realize that, or most people don't realize that we still have the same amount of staff if we're assisting with schools and if we opened up the senior centers. So I think the people that are the powers that be regarding the senior centers agree that we're going to kind of hold off on opening those senior centers, simply because we just can't support the centers properly. Because as it is now with the schools, of course, GDOE has not. Well, no, GDOE has asked us for help in passing out senior meals, the excess meals. I'm sorry, student meals, because not everyone has transportation to pick up meals. So Sodexo has hundreds of meals left over, and they're just trying to farm that out to everyone else that needs it, all the students that need it, and so. For those residents who don't have a ride, or for those residents who are actually those parents that are working and students can't access food, that's where we come in. Is we make those deliveries to their homes. So on top of our regular duties, on top of delivering senior meals, 1,000+ senior meals, we also are assisting with the with the meal to student distribution, on top of the traffic escorting at the schools, right? So the schools are grab and go. So most offices that have schools within their jurisdiction are assisting with traffic escort as well. So everyone's working together to make this happen for everyone. So if our staff is going to continue to do what they're doing on top of opening the centers, there doesn't seem to be a way that would be feasible, unless of course we hired more people. And I'm not sure anyone wants to hire any more personnel. We did talk about contracting, maintenance work, and sanitization work, and so those are still part of the plan for the senior centers. But there's just still more to the senior center than maintenance and sanitization, right? There's the actual operation. So that's on hold now. And Dr. Lombard's presentation was extensive, and one of the things that I've been thinking about with school, and I know that it kind of came up a little in a conversation, but for the most part, I think this whole year students are just done with school. I think it's going to kind of be like the war, and students are just going to be home, and we're going to have to prepare them some other way to be successful citizens. So I'm not sure how. I don't think that's a popular viewpoint, but I believe we're going to continue to go back and forth. I don't see COVID leaving us anytime soon, and I don't think anyone else does either. And so we just kind of have to be prepared at all different angles. And when we're considering senior centers, that's part of our operation. So no, that's still on hold. The good thing over the weekend, though, is that the budget bill that was passed by the legislature was lapsed into law. So I do, on behalf of the council, want to sincerely thank the Speaker and Senator Josen Augustine and all the senators that voted for the bill, simply because it does fund the Mayor's Council appropriately and as requested. I know that the $10 million that was given to the council will certainly be put to good use. We're hoping now to hear about any funds coming from the American Rescue Plan. The other thing about the new budget for fiscal 22 is that I know it's been a contentious subject for many, many years, and we're happy to announce that the legislature has also helped us in making sure that the money is given to the districts appropriately, proportionately. And so every district will receive $20,000 from our lump sum, and then the balance will be distributed according to the 2021, I believe, street survey report from DPW. So we're excited. I am excited about that, because it's the first time we can actually say this is exactly how we're dividing it, and this is what it's based on, as opposed to just pulling up a percentage out of the sky. So we look forward to that. Of course, it's going to be a change for a lot of the smaller. It's going to be a change for all the districts, because the larger districts will certainly have more money, and I'm hoping that because they'll have more money, we can properly address their issues. And everyone asks, so what's the big deal with the Mayor's Council? What's going on there? What is everyone doing? Well, it's trash. We have trash all day, every day. We have trash. We have dogs. We have pigs. We have cats. So all of that is, every day for us. So that's something, when someone asks, so what's going on? Well, really, that's what's going on. And so, and you just look outside, someone's going to complain about something related to trash, related to an animal, and that's just, it's a never-ending cycle. And so, again, I am very thankful that the budget bill was passed, or was lapsed into law, and we can hopefully get things going. One of the other things that I am keeping tabs on is our recycling revolving fund, and I know that KOAM is always asking about our recycling revolving fund money. And for years, we've always had an issue with receiving the money on time, accounting for it, properly accounting for it in as far as invoice submission. And I'm happy to say that we are keeping tabs on that as far as the mayor submitting invoices on time. And because we know that the budget bill was lapsed into law and that 1.5 million from the recycling revolving fund will be given to the Mayor's Council of Guam, I will this week be communicating with EPA to see if they can ensure that at their next board meeting, they can address that that money coming to the Mayor's Council so that we'll continue to receive the money year round so that we can continue to collect the recyclables, the vehicles, the white goods, electronics, all of the good stuff that needs to get picked up and disposed of. And so this past year we had 1.3 million, and there's almost nothing left over from that 1.3. And so, trash grows. I don't know which mayor said it, but it could have been Mayor Savares from Denado, but just like cars grow, right? I mean, just as much as everything else grows, like cars grow. And so 1.3 million was certainly used towards that. And there's definitely a whole lot more. One of the issues that we have is Chamorro Land Trust property. And, that certainly could be a story in itself, because are we responsible for all the Chamorro Land Trust dumps? Because if you look at Chamorro Land Trust property, everyone complaining is, not everyone, but there's a lot of people complaining on Chamorro Land Trust property that I don't know how this car got here. I don't know how this refrigerator got here. I don't know how this stove got here. But you know what? We didn't put it there. So how did it get there? And you don't have 6 cars, you have 10 cars. And you don't have 1 refrigerator, you have 50 refrigerators. So I really feel like Chamorro Land Trust needs to step it up as well. And their enforcement needs to be beefed up, because they have the duty to ensure that these properties are used the way they're supposed to be used and are properly maintained. It's not the mayor's job. We'll certainly come in to take things on the main road and secondary and tertiary roads, but when we're talking about private property and Chamorro Land Trust property, if there's excess money, we certainly are willing to help. I know there's one mayor who will not budge at removing any recyclables from businesses. And I understand his point. The point is, they're a business, they make money, well, they need to use their money and dispose the recyclables properly. I agree. But at the same time, we have this money. I feel we use it, get rid of the trash, and hopefully live in a cleaner, brighter Guam.
Right.
So there's definitely a whole lot more in store for us. I am looking forward to seeing what the governor is going to give us from the American Rescue Plan, because in that discussion with the legislature, with Senator San Augustine and some of the other senators, we discussed that a big portion of that money for us in the American Rescue Plan would do a good clean sweep of Guam regarding trash, including a motor pool, including purchasing heavy equipment, operators, maintenance for those heavy equipment in order for us to complete our jobs in the villages. And I certainly am looking forward to that to ensure that we continue to use this money wisely, this money from fiscal 22 and the American Rescue Plan money. So there's definitely a lot of work going on in the background.
Thank you, Mayor. It's 8:08, guys, on the breeze. We're KUAM FM. I got in Guam. We're not going on KUAM TV today because there's sports. Football!
Iba football.
So we're here and we're doing this. Sabrina Salas Mantanani, good morning.
Good morning. Mayor, I wanted to follow up. You're mentioning ARP money. Has any of the ARP money been used to pay for the COVID differential pay?
Well, we don't have any money in the Mayor's Council of Guam from ARP, so I can say no on our end. Whether it was transferred.
So no local funds, as far as you're aware, has been used to pay for the COVID differential pay for the Mayor's Council of Guam employees?
No.
Have you guys been notified that you guys aren't going to be paid any more COVID differential pay?
Yes, Sabrina Matanani.
So tell me what happened. What have you been notified?
Yes, of course you're going to ask me that question.
I'm
So
sorry.
you got a
about my
big
friend.
fat, you're not getting any more COVID differential pay. Stop, mayors.
Yeah, you're right. Son of a gun. Yes, you're right.
Well, doesn't that make you mad? Like you guys are out here doing everything and anything.
It does, and you know what? You just gotta laugh sometimes because we're all okay. You know, we're alive, but you're right. I mean, our coworkers, they work so hard. I mean, they really do. For all the crazy things people say about them, and for all the crazy things we make them do, you know, they do deserve that differential pay. Especially, I mean, you know, they've never stopped working. We said it time and time again on the show. They've never stopped working. They continue to work just like everybody else. So, you know, they're not any different from anyone else that's working in the front lines. And so I laugh about it, not because I think it's funny, but you know, what else can I do? I mean, if I had the millions in my pocket, I'd give it because I know that they deserve it and that they've earned it, but I don't. And so, you know, you just kind of have to, you know, grin and bear it. Just however it is, it's gonna. I was assured though that it is being handled and that they will get paid. So no, they are not up to date with their COVID pay.
Were you guys?
And I don't know about the American Rescue Plan money because, like I said, we haven't drawn any of that from the Mayor's Council side. But if it was given from another branch of government or some other agency to the Department of Administration to pay for our Mayor's Council COVID differential, then you know I don't know about it. I just know that we haven't received it on the Mayor's Council side.
But you guys received. When did you guys receive word that they're no longer going to be paid COVID differential pay? And what was the reason?
You know what? I have to pull that up. I don't have it in front of me, but it was because, of course, you know, lack of funds. Again, they didn't say that it wouldn't get paid. They said that if we were gonna pay it out, we would have to use local funds. But you know how that goes. I mean, I've said it many times again on the show that we don't have the money to pay for that because it's already short as it is, you know, for fiscal 21. So, but I can look it up. I believe it was last week or something. Yeah, I don't think they've. The instructions were to continue to prepare your timesheets as usual, and when DOA will accept it, we'll submit them. So I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, we have not submitted any COVID timesheets to DOA.
Because you guys were told we don't have any more money. There's funds have run out.
That's correct. Yeah. And so, of course, you know, like I said, they don't say they're not going to pay it. They say that if we're going to pay it, we need to use local funds. But I mean, that just kind of means we can't pay it because we don't have local funds to pay for it. But it's kind of just like the RISE Act. Like, you know, I mean, how do I get $500 from KOAM? Because, you know, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I think we've all heard it and we're all, you know, it's just kind of, I mean, I'm not sure why our people have to wait and almost beg for this money. I mean, and you guys have said it time and time again. And it's coming to a point where, you know, I mean, it's like, aren't there enough fiscal managers to determine the need? And not only to determine the need, but to determine the process in which this money is going to get paid out to the people so that they're no longer waiting. Gosh, how many do you have at KOAM? You're giving out $500 a day? Anyway.
I figured I'd just ask.
Sorry about my friend there.
I know. Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't talk about friends because, you know, miscommunication.
Sorry to all the mayor's office employees, all them COG employees that have been busting their ass this whole time. You're not going to get your COVID differential pay because supposedly there's not enough money to cover it. So.
They'll get it. They're gonna, you know, remain resilient as always, and they'll continue to to work hard for all of us and make us all look good so that we're all alive. So, I do certainly thank them. And, it's hard to work with 19 mayors too, right? Everyone has their own point of view, but I'm very happy to say that, amidst all of these challenges, we continue to, press forward and regardless of what happens during the day, we continue to work together for the people of Guam. And like I said, it's just differing views, but that's just what it is. We don't live in a perfect world.
What did you make though of the governor in her message about the budget? That's some nerve, huh? Some nerve to complain about this budget that the senators passed when you did everything in your power to keep any information that they needed from getting to them. I mean, it was just crazy. I mean, you don't want to tell us what the plan is. You didn't want to include the American Rescue Plan money in the budget. So you had these senators budgeting, whatever nickels we can rub together. And then you go and write a letter complaining about it. That was just nuts to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to take the legislature side on this and say, well, and the speaker said it in her letter, right? I mean, they went through the process without any other figures, especially from the American Rescue Plan, and knowing that some of the departments came in to the hearing, budgeting, using American Rescue Plan, assumingly American Rescue Plan money, and the legislature not knowing. And so I just hope that regardless of what has happened, I really hope that we just really put our differences aside and work together, because we say it all the time, but I don't see it. I don't see it because the two branches continue to be at odds with one another. And the only way that we'll succeed, even through COVID, is if we work together. And I'm happy to say that regardless of how people view the mayors, regardless of what you say, we'll still help. We'll do whatever it is we need to do to keep the people of Guam safe, whatever it is we can do to serve. And I just really feel like, for the budget cycle, I think the legislature has done their job. I think they really have. I mean, maybe I'm biased because we got what we wanted, but you know what? Hey, that's life. But at the same time, they really, they reached out to us. We did, we worked out things together, and it's not perfect. And I just wish that, for the sake of our island, that we work together, that we truly work together. And, I think I mentioned offline that the congressman and Senator Moylan have, communicated with me on something else. And I'm really looking forward to further communications with both Senator Moylan and the congressman, because I feel like, this is not for Jesse Alec. This is not for the community of PD. This is for the island of Guam. And if our island can benefit from whatever Senator Moylan and Congressman Nicholas have been working on, then let's hear it. I think we should hear it. I think we need to know what it is or what is out there for our people, and how our villages and how our island can benefit from it, regardless of party. I mean, it's just, at this point, we really just need to put our words into action and stop saying work together, but actually work together.
See, that's why you're not getting the COVID differential pay, because you keep talking good about the Sir Nicholas Moylan team.
I'm not talking good about anybody. I'm saying that if there's a proposal, then let's hear it. And I'm saying if there's something out there for the villages, let's hear it. If there's something out there that's going to benefit the island, bring it on. Because there's no need to put it under anything. There's no need to hide it all, and there's no need. Heck, I really feel that's our problem. But anyway, I don't want to get into it with you, Mr. Barnett.
No, now you don't want to get into it. Right on. Bree?
Yeah, just real quickly, I don't even know if this is anything, but have the mayors been folded into the discussion about public health's plans to increase community access to this monoclonal antibody treatment? Because they're supposed to be opening up, different sites. So I just wondered if the mayors know, or if you know anything about it.
As a council as a whole, I have not received any word. but perhaps if they were going into certain villages, I'm sure public health, by now knows that they should at least ring the doorbell at the mayor's office.
What about homebound vaccinations? How's that been going? Do you know?
I have not heard any bad things on homebound vaccinations. I know that the last word that I got was to register on 311. Typically mayors will call me to say that they have issues, but I have not had any calls in weeks. So I'm assuming that they're okay.
Okay.
And typically, they'll call my office as well. Residents will call my office as well, and I haven't heard of anyone having any issues regarding homebound vaccination.
All right.
Well, thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Mayor.
I do want to say, though, that there are the Bill 156 is going to be heard this Wednesday, and that I think is, I know it's contentious among the mayors. I know Senator Ada did introduce that bill along with, I believe, Senator Duenas and Senator Moylan, and I know that they were really trying to do it because the mayors felt that they needed more enforcement regarding public nuisances and civil nuisances. I think one of the issues, and we're working on that on our end, is that mayors are feeling that we're given too much enforcement duties, and those enforcement duties need to be left with, GPD and EPA and so on. And so those that's coming up on Bill 156. And so I do want to thank Senator Ada for it. I know that he really worked hard in making sure they were addressing our issues. But I think there were so many things coming on, and then Bill 116 from Senator Sabina Perez, that kind of all came around. That came first, and then 156, of course. But on Bill 116, Senator Perez is again trying to entertain the mayors and saying, well, okay, here 45% of this citation issued for littering is going to go to the apprehending officer, and so I'm hoping to get the mayor's support on that as well, because that was a big topic for them, that we would issue citations but not get anything from it. And so hopefully both bills will get support from the mayors, and we'll see how that goes through the process. But thanks, Stu. I appreciate the time.
Oh, thank
Always,
you.
Mayor. Good to have you back.
Okay.
Okay,
Have a good day.
There you
Stay
go.
safe.
Mayor Jesse Allig, 8:23. Quick break, and we're coming back to do news right here on the link. Good morning.
Tired of waiting in long lines?
This season of The Voice promises to be the best one yet, with singer Ariana Grande joining the star-studded Coach lineup, including John Legend, Blake Shelton, and Kelly Clarkson.
Happen to see how last season ended? I won.
But that's why I'm here.
To get you hyped up for the big premiere, KUAM Communications are giving you the chance to win $500 daily between September 13th to September 17th for showing us how much you love The Voice. All you have to do is listen to The Link on Breeze 93.9 FM or watch the live stream on Facebook Live, and when prompted, call in with your answer to The Voice Daily Trivia Challenge. And then on premiere day, September 21st, check out KUAM Digital for a special bonus question and another chance to win $500. Visit KUAM.com for official rules and regulations. Some restrictions apply.
The Voice, brought to you locally by First Hawaiian Bank.
The KUAM Podcast Network is back and on demand, featuring a great variety of podcasts from our island and region, including culture, lifestyle, awareness, crime, politics, commentary, comedy, and entertainment. Available on most streaming platforms. The KUAM Podcast Network. Subscribe and listen now.
Do you feel like you're missing out on something? Make life more rewarding with Pacific Points. Earn and redeem points for bill rebates and free load at IT&E, discounts on fuel at Shell, vouchers at Foodies, and United Mileage Plus miles. You can even pay with Pacific Points at IT&E, Shell, and Foodies. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
See what's on TV tonight with schedules, network news and notes, local promotions and giveaways on KUAM Communications social media pages. Like and follow us on Facebook or Instagram now for all the latest and never miss out.
We know you're tired of hearing about COVID-19. Some of you are probably wondering whether this is ever going to end. However long it takes, we all have to do our part, including our children, to hold the line. You can protect yourself and your family by getting vaccinated.
And if you're already vaccinated, don't let your guard down because you can still give and get COVID-19. And if you're not vaccinated, remember that if you catch the virus, you could suffer more severe complications. At the end of the day, it's the choices we make to protect ourselves, our families, and our community that will control the spread.
We know it sounds repetitive at this point, but again, wash your hands, watch your distance, and wear your mask.
Together, we have to hold the line.
This season, KUAM Communications is ready to go with more games, more championships, and more sports specials guaranteed to bring out the fan in you. Don't miss a minute of gameplay from NBC on KUAM TV8 or from CBS on KUAM TV11. We're bringing you all the action and excitement brought to you locally by Michelob Ultra, the superior light beer, Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape, and Docomo Pacific.
The Culture Club returns to KOAM Digital and KOAM News Weekend Edition, highlighting Guam's young artists, activists, and crafters as they work to protect, preserve, and promote our Chamorro culture. Watch this weekly feature on the digital platforms of KOAM News Weekend Edition, brought to you by Hanum.
Guam was once home to over 12 native species of forest birds, each with their own unique sound, color, and role to play in our ecosystem. However, the arrival of the brown tree snake has threatened their existence. Today, only 3 of these species still exist in the wild. But what was once lost can be restored. Join the Department of Agriculture's efforts to restore our ecosystem. It is only through partnerships with various organizations and the community that we can give our native birds a future. Support snake suppression.
You make me say, I'll pick you up, girl, if you're ready. You're divine, rock steady, say. We go slow, vibes aflow. The only woman that I truly know. A real woman, courteous and kind. The type of girl I idolize. A real queen, so sweet, from your crown to the soles of
you make me say ooh, you make me say ooh.
All right, everybody, welcome back to The Link Monday morning. So if you are out on the road making your way to work or getting up and getting ready for school, most of you are probably in virtual school right now, so do your best. The Link has your back. Please be safe out there. We are giving away later on in the show $500 for those of you who want to join our... People are asking about this in the comments. They're like, oh, can you give me a little hint?
Yeah, someone's like, can we get a hint?
Yeah, is it the judges? Is it where it is and everything like that? You just have to watch. Trust me. We're going to make it worth your while. $500. So that's coming up later on. But now let's get to news and let's find about what's going on all around the island. Here's Bree with the latest.
Half a day, everybody. Since Friday night, Guam recorded 4 COVID-related deaths and a total of 345 new positive cases out of 3,737 tests performed. Keep in mind, these are only the numbers from public health. Additional cases are expected from private clinics from weekend testing and should be released by the Joint Information Center later tonight. As for the 4 deaths, they occurred at Naval Hospital on September 8th. They were a 64-year-old woman, a 57-year-old man, a female adult whose age was unspecified, as well as a male adult whose age was unspecified. According to the JIC, their vaccination status was unknown, as well it was also unknown whether they had underlying health conditions. 3 were pronounced dead on arrival to Naval Hospital. The deceased have been transferred to the Chief Medical Examiner's Office. Additional information about their cases will be provided once it is available. As of Sunday night, JICS report a total of 72 people are hospitalized, 7 receiving ICU level of care, 3 on ventilators. Out of the 72 patients, 43 reported unvaccinated, 6 are unknown. 1 patient is ineligible to receive the shot. 22 are vaccinated. To date, there have been a total of 12,379 officially reported cases of COVID, with 159 deaths total. 2,776 cases are active. There have been more than 9,400 recoveries. As of 9/11, the CAR score remains at 39.2. As well, a total of 112,992 of Guam's eligible population is fully vaccinated. The island records its 13th traffic-related fatality after a car accident in Pidi Saturday night. At around 8:30 p.m., the Guam Police Department's Highway Patrol Division was activated to investigate. Preliminary reports suggest that a black Hyundai Tucson was traveling south by Polaris Point when the vehicle ran off the roadway and collided with a utility pole. A 29-year-old woman was declared dead at the scene, and 2 female occupants were transported to Naval Hospital and GMH. Their conditions are unknown. This case remains open as traffic investigators have yet to determine if speed, alcohol, or drugs were factors in the crash. Governor Lulian Guerrero has allowed the fiscal year 2022 budget bill to lapse into law without her signature. In a transmittal letter to Speaker Therese Terlahi late Saturday night, the governor said among the reasons she didn't sign the measure was the amendment by the Speaker to increase revenue projections by $20 million and lockbox it to pay for tax refunds. She called it premature at best and reckless at worst. She says the legislature is relying on a surplus that is not certain to occur. The legislature passed the budget on August 31st. The governor had 10 days, excluding Sunday, to act on it. Otherwise, it lapses into law, which she allowed it to do. The Speaker responded in a release of her own, saying they should no longer hold on to people's refunds, and there is, quote, no excuse to lag behind other jurisdictions in returning the people's money. She adds the legislature must now address the urgent needs the budget can address and ensure fairness and transparency for the $600 million that Guam is holding in the bank. With more news now, here is Tomas Manglonia.
This news update is brought to you by Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
Hafa good morning, everyone. I'm Tomas Manglonia with your headlines here on The Link. The first batch of All Rise claims has been processed and sent to the Treasurer of Guam for payment. So far, 18,000 out of the total of more than 33,000 applications were cleared, totaling some $19 million. DRT Director Daphne Shimizu.
Because this is a first in, first out process, we have to make sure that all applications that were A status came in and we get those paid before we move into the next day. But again, we're really excited to just be able to get these, begin to get these payments out. They'll get to the treasurer no later than Monday morning. And so again, it does take a little bit of time for the treasurer to get those mailed out, but that is the time when the treasurer will review, work to get those mailed out, and then also work to execute any direct deposits.
About 6,000 claims, or 17%, are in suspense status, meaning they have errors that need to be corrected.
What will happen is our team actually has a review committee. We're going to be reviewing the reasons for the suspense status, and so we determine whether or not those eventually get paid.
The program is capped at $30 million. Shimizu says it's difficult to calculate the total amount claimed so far because there are still many in suspense status and there are also many manual claims that still need to be processed. But if the amount of valid claims exceeds the cap,
Governor Leon Guerrero has indicated that if there is another $5 or $10 million that is needed, she will work to try to identify funding so that we can work to make payment on that. Now, it's difficult to tell exactly the dollar figure that's associated with the total. We know we're in about the $30 million range, but because we have so many applications that are in suspense status, and we still do have applications that are yet to be processed, the manual ones, it's difficult to tell exactly the dollar figure.
The All Rise application period ends Wednesday, September 15th at 5 p.m. for both in-person and online filings. Shimizu says so far 76% of applications were filed online, which makes processing faster, and more than 50% elected to be paid by direct deposit, which means they'll also receive their payments faster. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Several major tourist entertainment venues have been approved for direct federal relief funding. The Guam Sandcastle, the Fisheye Marine Park, and the Natla Cultural Park will receive the assistance under the Small Business Administration's Shuttered Venue Operator Grant. Congressman Michael St. Nicholas made the announcement saying, quote, "We can now look forward to these attractions continuing to operate despite tough tourism conditions, recovering payrolls for dozens of employees no longer able to avail of PUA, and helping our community to remain economically viable in these uncertain times," end quote. St. Nicholas said he met this week with the SBA also to discuss other federal assistance such as restaurant revitalization funding and economic injury disaster loans. And the Guam Memorial Hospital may be dealing with increasing numbers of hospitalizations, but according to hospital management, they're also seeing an increase in staff contracting COVID.
Exposure
has happened.
Yes.
According to GMH Administrator Lillian Posadas, in August alone, a total of 16 hospital staff were infected with COVID-19.
That's this week. Just this week alone, we've had like about 7 of our staff with COVID infection.
Posadas' employees were from various departments such as dietary, laboratory, radiology, security, and employees assigned to sit and watch COVID patients. The administrator even confirms exposure at the skilled nursing facility in Barragata Heights.
One of them was sitting and watching one of the patients up at the SNF, and so that's where the contact was.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry, SNF? I thought SNF was COVID-free.
Yes, it is COVID-free. It's supposed to be COVID-free, but, you know, when it does happen, that patient gets transferred over. So we try and keep it as COVID-free, but we are monitoring patients and staff twice a week. And so when the results come back, that's when we move them over. So unfortunately, that's what happened with that one patient that was exposed to, one staff who was exposed to a patient who converted.
GMH's Infection Control Department is doing the contact tracing for the staff infections. Posadas did not have the vaccination status of the employees, nor could say whether the 23 employees were all exposed at GMH or out in the community. What she can say is that it's forced her already overburdened staff to work harder.
We also have staff who are willing and who are committed to then continue working. They're working extra hours. So, you know, everybody's stepping up to the plate and stepping up to their, responsibility to help out and put in extra hours to cover where we need them to cover.
Guam is getting $32 million in federal funding for the design and construction of a new public health biosafety lab. The governor received the notification of award from the Office of Local Defense Community Cooperation, formerly DOD's Office of Economic Adjustment. The lab would be capable of biosafety level 2 and 3 analytical testing. It would not only serve Guam, but also the military and the region. Following up on a story we brought you last week, Public Health Today got some much-needed help for their lab. Through FEMA's medical staffing program, 2 medical technologists or clinical lab scientists arrived to Guam today. As we reported, Public Health made the request last week and FEMA approved it. More medical professionals are expected to arrive next week. They will help with the administration of monoclonal antibody treatments and vaccinations. That's it for now. We'll see you tonight for KUM News Primetime. Thanks for tuning in.
This news update is brought to you by Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
All right, yesterday, as you know, absolutely gorgeous island weather. I'd say not a cloud in the sky, but we actually had several, and that's what made it so special. So, landing over at the NWS, we're shooting over to Teason. Please tell me the weather will be somewhat consistent like it was yesterday, because yesterday was gorgeous, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Depends on what you call consistent, because we have a lot of different varieties of that out here.
Oh, gosh.
Today it's going to be a mix of clouds, some sun, and some showers, and the showers will be trickling in later today. It's not really going to be a dry week, but it's not going to be a soaker of a week as well. It's just going to be one of those weeks that it's a mix match every day for the end of the week. So let me turn you around.
Good morning and stay home and watch football.
Yeah, or stay at work. I've got so many things on my desk right now to work on this week. I probably won't see the light of day for a while. But this is what we're looking out of there. If you look outside, you're driving to work. It's a milky sky out there. A lot of clouds in the mid and upper levels. This is a cirrostratus clouds pushing over from the southwest. And that's because we have an upper level trough sitting off to our west. And so it's directing all those winds from Yap and Palau and to our south over the Mariana Islands from the deep convection that sits just south of us. So this is the axis of the showers and thunderstorms associated with like a small surface trough and stronger winds pushing down from the northeast. This is all going to be shifting toward Guam and the lower half of the Mariana Islands tonight and tomorrow, bringing us some showers. And it could generate some gusty winds from time to time, especially with those showers. Again, not a washout, but these things will be pushing over Guam later today. So expect the showers to gradually increase throughout the day. And then it's going to dry out again for Tuesday and into Wednesday. But then another surface trough will come out across the region. So I'm going to zoom out just a little bit more. So we have the drier area across central Micronesia, showers and thunderstorms northwest of Palau and Yap. But over here where you cannot see it, we have an upper level trough extending in the upper atmosphere up to this upper level low near Iwo Island, or also known as Iwo Jima. That's what's generating the showers and thunderstorms right up in that area. So you get a good look right there. And that's all moving away from us. But farther to our east, we have another Tutsel tropical upper tropospheric trough. That's another upper level feature circulating here near Wake Island. And you can see those upper level clouds of cirrus fuming off toward the east. This is going to be barreling gradually toward the northern Mariana Islands in the coming days. And again, these things are indicative of isolated thunderstorms, scattered showers, and where those showers do fall, especially when paired up with a surface feature like a surface trough, they combine to generate this heavier showers and thunderstorms. And so it's all about the timing where these surface features and upper level features come together. We mentioned last week the developing drought in the Marshall Islands, and we were hoping for the ITC to get a little more active early this week, and that's exactly what's happening there. So severe drought was developing near Ailing Lap Lap, just south of Kwajalein. They're going to get some much needed relief today, and hopefully that'll mitigate some of the near-term drought conditions. I'm going to flip over to the water vapor imagery. And again, this is showing the moisture content in the atmosphere, especially in the upper levels. And so you see that northbound motion of those clouds. This is the moist layers of the atmosphere, the clouds that are streaming over the area, the white to the south of Guam, that's the active showers and thunderstorms, the deep convection that's sitting just south of us. We have that upper level low over here spinning, and then this much larger upper level low barreling across Wake Island. And again, this is not to be confused with like a typhoon or something that's spinning in the atmosphere at the surface. This is an upper level feature generating the showers and thunderstorms. So go ahead and cue up the slides, Jason.
Yep.
And we will get on to the work week weather. So headlines for Guam and the Sea Island, we do currently have a moderate risk of rip currents along east-facing reefs. That's going to be holding steady at least the next couple days. We don't see any major spikes in seas across the region, but we could see periodic shifts in the seas, the combined seas, with these gustier winds tonight and tomorrow morning. Guam fire danger, of course, is low due to the abundant rainfall we've had, but we are below average for the year. Micronesia, abnormally dry, moderate to drought, developing across eastern Micronesia, but they are seeing that relief with the ITCZ down to our south. The rainfall yesterday, we had just above a nickel of rainfall here at Tijen at the airport. The record for the day was set back in 1967 at over 5 inches of rainfall. I need to look back and see what event that was. It could have been a tropical disturbance of sorts. Those are the major events that typically give us our abundant rainfall in this time of the year.
So
Since
this day
September
in history,
1,
5.2 inches of rain fell.
That's exactly it. And that was way, way, way before my birth. So I don't remember that. Maybe Jason, are you old enough to see that?
No, that was 7 years before I was born. But, okay, I got a question for you though, Landon. When you have these like really, like you guys meteorologists say, we 4 inches of rain, 6 inches of rain, stuff like that. Is that typically indicative of it raining in very concentrated bursts throughout the day, but very, very intensely, or just like raining moderately throughout the day?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because that goes to more of a seasonal discussion. So you have the dry season, the wet season. At any given time of the day, year round, we can have a number of showers come over the island. So like in January, February, March, you might get those days where you have showers. You could experience 10 individual showers throughout the course of the day, but they drop very little rainfall. Now in September, October, November, when you're in the wet season, you might still have 9 or 10 or 11 individual showers throughout your day, but they drop a lot more rainfall. It's a little bit more heavier convection, heavier concentration of showers, and they dump and move off. And so you see the rainfall totals go up on a daily average in the wet season versus in the dry season. So I hope that answers your question.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Thank you. I see.
So, yeah, but again, the tropical disturbances, and it does not have to be a tropical storm or a typhoon to drop significant rainfall. These weak developing systems like a tropical disturbance or a tropical depression, they can drop significant amounts of rainfall across the islands. Notoriously in Chuuk and Pohnpei, where they've had mudslides and all kinds of problems from a developing disturbance. So don't be fooled by the lack of winds with a developing system. So let's see, next slide. We're going to go to the drought. This is the U.S. Drought Monitor map released last week. And of course, if you recall, there's a lot more yellow on the map in the Marshall Islands last week. The rainfall later in the week has given some near-term mitigation for the developing drought. But Ailing Lapwap, they're in severe drought conditions already at this point in the wet season. So the rainfall right now is much needed that they're seeing today and hopefully will last through tomorrow. As far as the sea conditions, not too bad. Combined seas of 3 to 5 feet today and tonight. Might be a little bit of an uptick with the gustier winds if the winds really do push in tonight, tomorrow, but we're not seeing too much of that signature in the forecast models, at least over the next 36 hours. The northeast swell dominating through the next couple of days, 2 to 4 feet, and wind waves at 2 to 3 feet. And those wind waves will creep up if we see the gustier winds with those showers and thunderstorms. Otherwise, not too bad for the remainder of the week. Partly sunny today with the clouds gradually increasing through the afternoon. Combined seas 3 to 5 feet. Surf, east reefs at 4 to 6 feet. North at 3 to 5 feet. Rip risk moderate. We're going to see periods of the winds gusting from time to time with the showers and thunderstorms, but it really depends on the weather. We could see another uptick in winds and showers Wednesday night into Thursday with a second surface trough pushing through, but then some improvement by the weekend. So that's all we have.
And we wish you and your team over there at NWS, because you guys have been good friends of ours, always like available whenever we need it. We really appreciate it. We wish you guys the best of health.
Well, thank you very much. And again, the good news is we have no suspect features for tropical development anywhere upstream of us, at least for the next week or two.
Okay, and then parting shot real quick, Landon. You and I were talking during the commercial break. Can you please educate and enlighten our dear Link family and everything watching right now? You actually tried a product recently I've never heard of, but you said, at least for you, it was a life-changing event.
Yeah, it was a bacon ketchup. My stepmom, she gave me a bottle of bacon ketchup to take back to Guam. It was from a roadside farm market in eastern North Carolina. So we have a lot of these farm markets where they make their own products and sell fresh fruits and vegetables. And I was like,
bacon ketchup.
I'm kind of hesitant to try it. But I put it on a hamburger earlier this week, and it's like utopia. It's like peace on earth. It's like you put it on the burger. I can't imagine a hamburger any other way, or eggs, or chicken, broccoli, cabbage. My gosh.
I'll take some peace on earth right now. Yeah, peace on earth, goodwill towards men, and and bacon ketchup, if that's what's got to get it done.
It's a life changer, and I highly recommend it. Bacon ketchup, if you can ever look for it.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. He knows about the weather. He knows about food too. So man of many talents. Landon, we appreciate it, man.
See y'all later.
All right, we are going to public health right after this, but let's first get you up to speed on what's going on around the island in our native tongue. Here's Uncle King Conception with your Chamorro News Update.
Buenos updates to get something with sa morgen ni KUAM News. Presenta ni Familia Mito gi First Hawaiian Bank. Maripori mina trasina finaitan crash kareta gi panyin sablu. Kasi rasotsi media man maagang ni Highway Patrol gi Guam Police Department pro investiga disperse accidente gi zapiti. Ipremet na report hanung na atirung na kulod Hyundai Tucson sa umananaw hazagi Fioni Polaris Point ani atopia ligan cemento gi Campton Salmon. Ang 29 anos na Palawan sa mandeklara na matay guihi sa 2 pasahero ni Palawan na lokwe sa mamakoni para Naval Hospital sa Guam Memorial na Hospital. Timatungi kondisyon niya ito sa Estapago. Mabababaha investigasyon pero madetermina ko dumuduri kareta pada nanbatga de kohod pada ambul bedenu ni semusedi ikras. Otro artículo te afirma mag-aga Lulian Guerrero bill para budget para fiscal na sakan 2022 instead a sedia para recaída para lei. Gikatanya si Leon Guerrero para Speaker Teresa Lahi gipangin sabelu, asangan na uno na rason na tia fidma sa puraji naman din ni Speaker ni atisay salapi ni mananang gapro halum este 20 milyon pesos mas. Sa kandalo dyan na rin siben salapi para maapasi refund ni taxiha. Ilang nga gabet na sentat fundu minauleg niya dyan na rebitaw dyan Bronco Mampus mas babanya dyan ay namendi. Ilang nga na ngungukoy legislatura siya gisalapi ni timan siguro na pro-sobla gi-budget. Mapasay budget ni legislatura gidiatan tayo 1 de agosto. Ninai 10 dias governo para o fitma para o veto bill, mas no sempre mamalagi después. Adzo bidane ay magahaga. Man responde speaker gi na release da sanga na tidebidita di teni refund ni tau siya. Da tau da excusa na tisina guahan anak nalo tatis lapit niya tau tagi oto na lugat siya. Alanya mas na depe pagi legislatura o masena tendi. Iman sempre sisyon na tiklusia ni tikanubri ni budget. Para masiguro'y binali, dyan na anok tayo mano'y ginasta ni 600 milyon pesos ang salapi guahan no gagigi bangku. Para Guam News Network, Guausikin Conception. Yasuto ifinut sa moro sa presenta dyan ni nafato ni Familiang Mizo gi First Hawaiian Bank.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, where you get smart insights into your finances so you can make smart decisions with your money. With a daily personalized feed, you can compare your monthly income to spending. That's better. Discover where your money is actually going. You might be surprised. See what's essential and what isn't. The more you use the app, the smarter it gets. With insights from the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, it all starts with yes.
This season of The Voice promises to be the best one yet, with singer Ariana Grande joining the star-studded Coach lineup, including John Legend, Blake Shelton, and Kelly Clarkson.
Happy to see how last season ended. I won.
But that's why I'm here.
To get you hyped up for the big premiere, KUAM Communications are giving you the chance to win $500 daily between September 13th to September 17th for showing us how much you love The Voice. All you have to do is listen to The Link on Breeze 93.9 FM or watch the live stream on Facebook Live, and when prompted, call in with your answer to The Voice Daily Trivia Challenge. And then on premiere day, September 21st, check out KUAM Digital for a special bonus question and another chance to win $500. Visit KUAM.com for official rules and regulations. Some restrictions apply.
The Voice, brought to you locally by First Hawaiian Bank.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's, offers fully covered loading and unloading area with individual pin-coded gate and door access. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information. The relationship between Guam and Manila, Philippines is undeniable as we share similar cultural traditions, history, and heritage. With generations of Filipinos calling Guam home, KUAM presents a monthly look at the capital city featuring in-depth and engaging interviews on everything from medical tourism to new business and government leaders. Veteran newscaster Nestor Lecanto delivers Beyond Our Borders. This special program is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners.
Do you feel like you're missing out on something? Make life more rewarding with Pacific Points. Earn and redeem points for bill rebates and free load at IT&E, discounts on fuel at Shell, vouchers at Foodies, and United Mileage Plus miles. You can even pay with Pacific Points at IT&E, Shell, and Foodies. Pacific Points. Do more, get more.
0094, Breeze 93.9 FM.
Love that I've been waiting for. baby. I see the time to take your love from me, darling. Crazy how I turn and then I let you stay. Yeah, yeah. What is this thing? 'Cause I don't know, no.
Dedicated Minds. I wish I knew more about this band. Like, I don't even know who's singing. All I know is that there's a Chamorro guy who worked at the... What's that big drum store in the States? Like San Diego area? Or the big music
They
store?
specialize in drums?
Or is what's the big music
Guitar
store?
Center?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. This guy...
That's a great name for a band, a Dedicated Minds.
Guitar Center? Oh, Dedicated Minds, yeah.
That's a great name.
Yeah. So anyway, I heard there was a Chamorro guy working at this place, and they were just recorded like in the store. But that's all I know. We only have a couple songs. I actually got sent over when I was running 94 way back, man, like 2004, 2005. Good stuff.
We got a pretty dedicated mind in the Zoom room right now. Someone
We
who
sure
is
do. Nice seg, Jay.
a part of a team that has worked tirelessly to get us through and hopefully strive throughout the pandemic. Our good friend Janella Carrera, the Public Information Officer at Public Health. Good morning, Janella. Good to see you.
Hey, good morning, guys. Been a while.
It has. Welcome back. We're doing good. Well, let's just go ahead and get right into it. So, you know, the POO is ending, guys, and they're hiring over at the Department of Public Health and Social Services. I don't know if anyone on POO is qualified for this job, but we covered last week, Janella, the impending departure of the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Felix Cabrera, right?
Yeah, that's right. So he did submit a leave of absence, an extended leave of absence as CMO, but he is continuing to serve or finish out his clinical duties at the Northern Region Community Health Center until September 17th, and then he'll start his leave of absence for an indefinite period. So in the meantime, we are continuing our search for an acting CMO. Hopefully we'll make that announcement soon.
Right. We were just kind of wondering off line here. So prior to Dr. Cabrera, it was Dr. Chris Dombrowski for like a hot minute. And then prior to Dr. Dombrowski...
Gosh, I even forgot about that. Dr. Dombrowski.
Dr. Maglotnia was before Dombrowski, right?
That's right. She was our medical director. And then Dr. Dombrowski was our acting medical director. And then we hired Dr. Cabrera as our chief medical officer.
Right. 8:58 now on the link. Janelle, I know that you guys are doing a bunch of outreach this week, right?
Yeah, so, you know, we've been doing outreach throughout this entire pandemic, but we do have a very busy schedule. You know, we continue with COVID-19 vaccination clinic. Throughout this week, we are at the UOG field house. We're continuing at the Micronesia Mall on Thursday and Saturday. And then, of course, we have our vaccination clinic at the Northern Public Health. We also have it at our Southern Public Health, which is in Ilahan. And then we also have testing ongoing, of course, at the old medical grounds. But we also have testing that we're offering at the Southern Region Community Health Center in Ilahan as well. So we're very busy in terms of outreach for testing and vaccination as well.
Right. So that's something new, guys. All my Southern people, because I know they're always asking me about opportunities for testing and vaccination. So it's testing is going on at the Southern Community Health Center?
Yes, that's correct. That's on Friday, September 17th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. We are going to have testing that we're offering there at the Southern Region Community Health Center.
Well, that's good to hear. Janelle, I know there was some talk about, and I want to go back to like Forever 21. There was some discussion about what we're going to do with that, and then I think that kind of went by the wayside because now we're at UOG. But is there any discussion that you can share with us about opening up another permanent testing site, or are we going to kind of do this, spread them out on different days of the week that we're seeing like this week?
Yeah, so we were eyeing the possibility of having another vaccination clinic over at the Forever 21 location at GPO. That was something that we were looking at, and we were engaging with the management at GPO. along with the Guam National Guard. Unfortunately, it just didn't pan out. And so we did disengage. We were actually looking at that as a possibility of both a vaccination clinic as well as an infusion center, but more for prophylactic purposes. So what we're doing at this time is we're actually working with Manilao Mayor Alan Ugakta to use the Manilao Senior Citizen Center as an infusion center, and we'll hopefully have that stood up by this week, maybe in the next few days. And so that's for the monoclonal antibody treatment.
Right.
So Forever 21, I think at this point, it's not, it just didn't pan out. Maybe, I don't know, in the future, maybe we'll have talks, but at this time, it's not a location that we're going to be using.
Just real quick, Janelle, I don't know if you have info on this, but we did have a comment earlier about the Manilao night market. Did Public Health do an inspection there on Thursday that you know of?
I'm not aware of that. I'd have to check back with the team to find out if that was one of the locations that we went out to visit.
Yeah, I know, Janelle. We also had another comment. I think there was a follow up to that one. Somebody was saying, do you know of anything if people or if Public Health has required vendors like at night markets or anything like that to get to be vaccinated?
Yeah, what's the protocol on that, if you know?
Okay, yeah, I'll have to find out. I'm not sure if night markets are part of the covered establishments that need to have, vaccination requirements. I have to look at the guidance memo again. Because I know that, eating and drinking establishments, of course, especially if you're dining in, but for takeout purposes, it's not a necessity. For night markets, I can't recall if they were listed. I'd have to look at I don't have it in front of me, so
I don't have
to look
it
at it.
either.
Yeah.
Well, but I wonder though, because like at a night market, a night market when I used to go, this is way before COVID, you would get like your lumpia or whatever your drink, and you'd like walking around eating it. So I wonder how that works, if it's just strictly takeout or anyway, I don't know.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to recall if it was part of the list of covered establishments. Especially if you're outdoors and it's a you're really just going there to pick up food. It's kind of like when you're in a mall setting, right? And you're not sitting down to eat, but you're just kind of walking around, going in and out of stalls to pick up items for purchase. So I don't recall if it was in the covered establishments. So I'd have to take a look.
I hate to hit you with another kind of like, did you hear about this one? But just while we got you here, we also were tracking, I believe Saturday, and then this was confirmed by Dr. Wen, because I think he might have responded to it. But there was an adverse reaction to vaccine being administered at UOG Fieldhouse on Saturday. Did you hear anything about that yet?
I have not heard anything about that, but anytime that there is an adverse reaction, it should be immediately reported to VAERS, which is the standard reporting system. And usually it would have to be reported by the institution or the clinic where the adverse reaction occurred. So if it was at UOG, then the clinicians or the authorities who were there who observed it would have to be the ones to report it. And then we also encourage patients who may be experiencing adverse reactions, say at home or after they've been released, to also report it. There's actually, usually while being observed, they can actually, or even right after they receive their dose, they can actually register on the VAERS system, the adverse reporting system themselves. So they can actually be monitored for the duration of their vaccination, so that they can actually tell the system whether they're experiencing any type of symptoms or if they're feeling fine. So there is a way to report these symptoms.
Do we?
But I've not heard of that particular one on Saturday.
Oh, okay. Well, I will confirm it probably with the guard and the doctor. But do we track like local submissions to the VAERS system, and what are we seeing?
Unless it's reported to us, then we do keep track of it if it's reported to us. But if it's something that, say, for example, is just something that occurred at home or was not reported to a medical professional here locally, then obviously there's no, we're not aware of it. But if it's an event, say, for example, that required medical attention, further medical attention, required a patient to be taken by ambulance to the hospital, or some kind of clinical assessment, required an EpiPen, or trying to think of the word, just more medical attention,
Right.
then that is something that we will keep track of.
So do you know offhand if we've had any other submissions to it?
I know that in the early stages of the vaccine rollout campaign, we had a handful of them that we were aware of. There was one or two that required ambulance transport, emergency transport. There were maybe one or two that required further attention at the pod site, at the vaccination site.
Yeah.
And there was maybe one or two that were later reported to us, but this was maybe 1 or 2 or 3 days after the patient had gone home and then went to their physician and reported their adverse reaction to their physician. And we only became aware of it later down the road. But other than that, I'm not aware if there were any after that. It was probably something that was reported directly to the VAERS system or to their physician, and then reported to the VAERS system.
Do you know offhand what types of symptoms these people experienced?
More than often, it's breathing difficulties, chest pains. Those are the more common ones. If it's more than just the standard, fever, chills, arm injection site pain, it usually has something to do with an allergic reaction, and then it's a respiratory type of issue.
Janella, you were talking about the monoclonal antibody treatment earlier. Where are we with did Public Health receive their shipment, and how soon are we going to start administering this treatment? I mean, I know we started last week or something like that, but where are we with it?
So the plan is, so we do have a FEMA team that I believe is set to arrive sometime today. And then in the next day or so, the goal is to get them orientated and some training. And as I mentioned earlier, we are working with Manila Mayor Alan Ngakta and hopefully using the Manila Senior Citizen Center as an infusion site. And with the help of the FEMA team, because we did announce that we are working, or we were approved for a request for assistance. So with the FEMA team, they will assist us in getting out these monoclonal antibody treatment to patients who were referred by physicians. So I think right now we have about maybe about 30 patients who are on standby to receive the treatment, the monoclonal antibody treatment. We did have an order that was pending last week and set to arrive on Friday. I believe that shipment did arrive. I'm not sure how many exactly arrived. And then we are on track. We're trying to order more, and so hopefully we'll be receiving more of the region code. So our target is to have that infusion center at the Manila Senior Citizen Center up and running by Wednesday.
Did we lose any of the monoclonal antibody treatment to temperature issues during shipment? Because I heard that happened.
I'm not familiar with any of the any issues pertaining to that I'm more familiar with the arrival of the FEMA team and, the target, but in terms of the shipment and all of that, I'd have to get back to it. I'd have to find out, but I'm not familiar with.
Okay.
Yeah.
But are we planning on standing up another infusion center, or is it just going to be the one in Manila?
For now, we're working with the Manila mayor, and of course, we also have GRMC and GMH as well, and so that has been a standard. We make referrals to both hospitals, and that's what we were doing prior to working with the Manila mayor. And so whenever there is a patient or anytime we have eligible criteria that's met at the Tizan testing site, then a referral is made for them to get the treatment at either of the two hospitals. We've been working with GRMC very well. And so the goal is we want to have a third infusion site where we can have as many as, if possible, 80 patients a day. So with just the two hospitals, it's not possible to do that. But with adding this third site, perhaps we can reach that goal. And this is part of our layered approach.
Yeah.
It's part of our platform to try and reduce the number of COVID-19 spread in the island. It's vaccination, mask wearing, social distancing, and then on top of that, treatment of COVID-19 through monoclonal antibody therapy.
Just so you guys know, they're not opening an infusion in Manila. We're talking about an infusion center where they receive the monoclonal antibody treatments. We had a caller earlier, Janela. So in order to receive the treatment, do you have to be referred by a physician? Because this lady had tested positive and she said she'd asked for it and she was turned down. So what is the actual protocol for it?
Right, yeah. So it is through a referral process, and there is an eligibility criteria. I don't have the list in front of me.
Yeah, we've had it.
Okay, yeah. So there is an eligibility criteria, and the minimum age is 12 years and older. And usually it's, you test positive for COVID-19. The priority really is for those who are unvaccinated because they would typically be the ones who are more susceptible to severe illness. But that doesn't exempt or that doesn't necessarily mean that those who are vaccinated are automatically disqualified. But there is a criteria to be met, and there's a certain comorbidities that a person may have, such as heart disease, other types of comorbidities that you may have that may qualify you to receive the monoclonal antibody therapy. And then, of course, a certain weight minimum requirement as well. And so the physician will make the determination and then refer you to receive the monoclonal antibody therapy.
Yeah, Bree was just asking if I asked about FEMA. I did. I did.
Oh, okay.
I did, Mom. I did. So, Bree, they're going to open an infusion center in Manila. They've been working with Mayor Alan Ugata, and it's going to be stood up by the FEMA team. They've also got GMH, GRMC, but they're looking at another infusion site, right, Janela?
Right.
That's still in the works?
Was there like five sites or 3 sites? Because there's a team, 6 doctors, so a team of 5?
There's a team, so I believe it's a team of 20 FEMA, so it's 3 teams of 5. And then we also, there were 2 that came last week already from FEMA. And then I think there was another 2 that we're also anticipating. And they're all here to assist us with the infusion.
Mm-hmm. So where did the first team go? The first 2 teams?
I have to find out exactly where they're assisting us. I'm not sure if it's administrative duties that they're assisting us with or logistical duties. But my understanding is the FEMA team that's set to arrive this week or tonight, they're all part of the infusion center that's assisting us on at the Minneola Senior Center.
Did the monoclonal antibody treatment doses arrive?
So we were expecting them on Friday. That was what I was told. As far as, and I was telling Chris this earlier, I don't have the exact details on their arrival or what what occurred. The information I have more on is as far as what we're trying to do in standing up the infusion center this coming Wednesday, which is our target.
Oh. And it's just at the Mingyilao Senior Center? You said, did
Yes.
you say there was another site?
I don't have information on another location yet. So right now the focus is to try to get the Mingyilao Senior Center up and running. So the FEMA team, they should be arriving sometime today. And then they'll undergo some training just to get them orientated with our team in the next day. And then our target is to have the infusion center up and running by Wednesday. That's the goal.
Okay. And again, for people who still aren't familiar with the treatment, there's certain criteria, right, that the person that tests positive has to meet. Can we go through that?
Sure. Yeah. Let me just pull up the exact criteria.
Thank you, John.
Sure, no problem. Okay, so for minors who are the age of 12 to 17, because the minimum age is 12. And again, the individuals who would be receiving this are those who test positive. Eventually down the line, we would want to use this as a prophylactic measure. So for those who are exposed to COVID-19, but we're not there yet. For now, it's for those who test positive for COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
So for minors 12 and older, minimum age is 12, and you'd have to be at least 80 pounds. The eligibility criteria is a BMI of within the 85th percentile, genetic, neurologic, or metabolic conditions, pregnancy, chronic kidney disease, diabetes, immunosuppressive disease or immunosuppressive treatment, cardiovascular disease, including congenital heart disease or hypertension, chronic lung disease, for example, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, asthma, which is moderate to severe, interstitial lung disease, cystic fibrosis, and pulmonary hypertension, sickle cell disease, neurodevelopmental disorders, for example, cerebral palsy or other conditions that confer medical complexity, for example, genetic or metabolic syndromes and severe congenital anomalies, and having a medical-related technological dependence, for example, tracheostomy, gastrostomy, or positive pressure ventilation not related to COVID-19. So that's the criteria for minors. Mm-hmm. And then for adults, you would have to be at high risk for progression to severe COVID-19 and check one or more of the following. So this is the other criteria you'd have to meet. Older age, for example, older than 65, obesity, with a BMI of 25 or more, pregnancy, chronic kidney disease, diabetes, immunosuppressive disease or immunosuppressive treatment, cardiovascular disease, including congenital heart disease or hypertension, chronic lung diseases, sickle cell disease, neurodevelopmental disorders, which is the same for minors, and then having a medical related technological dependence, which is similar to what I read for minors. Mm-hmm. So that's the minimum criteria. Mm-hmm. And then I think, one of the other things too is if your physician also determines that you also need to or are eligible to receive the treatment, then he can also refer you to receive it.
You know, we reported that there was a shortage of the treatment that GMH had ran out of doses, right? And that public health was putting people on a waiting list. Is that still happening? And if so, how many people are on this waiting list?
Yes, that's right. So last week, the island did run out. So we did run out of particularly the region code. So we were waiting for the shipment to arrive, and it was supposed to arrive on Friday. My understanding is that it did arrive. Now, as far as how many arrived and all of that, I don't have the details for that. But what we did have as a sort of as a backup was another monoclonal antibody treatment, which is called Lilly, and it's also monoclonal antibody therapy. It's obviously not the exact same combination drug therapy as region code, but it also is a monoclonal antibody therapy. So for those who may have wanted to or opted to receive that, they could. My understanding is I think we had about 30 individuals on the wait list to receive the region code, and so I'm not sure if all 30 are opting to receive the region code, or if some of them may have opted to receive the Lilly, which is another monoclonal antibody therapy. But we did have 30 on the wait list for region code.
Are these EUA?
Region code?
These monoclonal, are they emergency use authorized? They're not fully approved yet?
Yes, that's correct. They're EUA.
Has there been any adverse reaction to these therapies?
I'm not aware of any that's been reported. I would probably have to check with either of the hospitals to see if any adverse reactions have been reported recently.
I already asked about the vaccine adverse reaction from this weekend.
Okay. Do you have any information on the planning for the booster shots?
We would still have to wait for FDA approval, and then after FDA approval, the ACIP, CDC ACIP, to adopt that recommendation and also wait for their blessing as well, which is a standard process that we go through for all types of vaccines. So for the booster, it's the same process. Once that process is done, then locally here, we would also, which is the same process we've undergone with all vaccines. The VAPPC will likely also want to meet and discuss, and their responsibility would really just be for prioritization of the vaccine rollout for the boosters. And the likely procedure for that would be those who received it in the kind of the same category. When we did our first campaign, or the vaccine rollout, we started with phase 1A, which was the healthcare personnel, and also I believe it was frontline workers, and then the elderly, the 75 and older. So likely go in that same phasing as well.
Are there?
It was about 8 months ago.
Right. Yeah. Are there any like manpower or staffing concerns? Because we're doing the monoclonal antibody treatment, we're expanding testing and vaccination efforts, and what this booster is going to entail. I mean, if you just look at it, we're basically starting the whole vaccination process all over again, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, I think. When the VAPPC meets, I think all of that will be discussed. The thing about, with the vaccine or with the booster rollout is that it wasn't a large number of people that we were seeing. I think it was manageable in terms of how many people we were vaccinating at any given time. Unlike the time when we opened it up to the public. So will likely, again, this is subject to what the VAPPC will have to discuss and approve. So I think we'll likely just use the standard vaccination pods in clinics, but maybe make room for, especially our Manamku, because we do have our homebound vaccination. I believe it's through our 311 call centers. So we might just have to, figure out a schedule for them. So it's really going to have to, we're really going to have to work with the VAPPC to figure out how we're going to do this for the booster shots.
So Public Health's got the 2 medical technologists for the Public Health Lab. The 3 5-member teams from FEMA are arriving, I guess, tonight. What about the update on the request to FEMA for the vaccinators? When are they scheduled to arrive, and has that already been approved?
I'm not sure if that one has been approved. I'll have to find out. I know for the infusion, the 20 teams, 20-member team, that one was approved. I think that one is still in the works. And so we're hoping to receive word on that. My understanding, so, for the FEMA requests, it's obviously not just Guam that's making the request. This is nationwide, especially as we continue to see surges across the nation. So we have to compete for this. So hopefully we can get our request approved for vaccinators as well.
Thank you. You're good?
Yeah. Was there anything else?
Anything else, Janella?
Yes, I do actually. I just, we announced that isolation clearance letters are available here at our office in Hessler. It's been a little slow. We don't see a lot of people coming here to pick up their isolation clearance letters.
What are these exactly, if you don't mind?
I'm sorry?
What are exactly is the isolation clearance letter? Is this for when you go back to work?
Yeah, so if, for example, someone who tested positive was obviously in isolation, right? So if they want to present the clearance letter to their employer, or if they're going to school, like UOG or GCC, they can pick up their isolation clearance letter here and then present it to their employer if they need it. Or if they just want to have one, they can pick it up here, because we do get phone calls and they're asking for one.
Yeah.
But what we've done is we've just centralized it to a location where they can pick it up. So we have it here at our office in Hagatya. And it's from 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Thursday this week. And this is for those who tested positive between August 3rd to August 9th through September 3rd.
What's the process? Like, what do they need to bring? And then I also know someone who tested positive after September 3rd, but they're supposed to come back to work on like this week.
Oh, okay. So if it's if they're still in isolation, then as the days clear, as their isolation period clears, then we'll continue to announce when those isolation clearance letters will be available for pickup.
So do they call, and then what do they need to bring if they're coming in person?
Just their ID.
Okay.
Just bring their ID.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So they're probably not cleared yet because they're still in isolation.
Right. Yeah. You good, Ree?
Yeah.
Thank you, Janella.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Right
All right,
on.
take
Be
care.
safe.
Bye.
There you go. 9:30. Let's take a quick break, and we're coming back with your chance to win $500 US. Woo! It's American money. It is American money, right?
Yeah, it is.
There's a little disclaimer. Members of the link need not apply.
Right. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're coming back with the link next. Good morning.
KUAM TV has been on the air for 65 years. 65 years of growing,
changing, and adapting to the needs of our local community. 65 years of making you smile, laugh, and cheer, and being there for you in times of tears and heartbreak, and learning to heal together. We've kept you on the edge of your seats, been a trusted source for you to turn to, weathered many storms together, and celebrated life's big moments. And now at 65, we celebrate all the firsts we brought you over the years, and all the firsts that lie ahead as our world changes. KUAM TV, celebrating 65 years of firsts on Guam.
Take in the panoramic beauty of our island each Sunday on the KUM News Instagram with Scenic Sundays. Scroll through the natural beauty of the island on display. Scenic Sundays on the KUM News Instagram is brought to you by Addis Trust and Investment, Location, Service, Trust, and Haagen-Dazs Shops Guam, where every day is made extraordinary.
We know you're tired of hearing about COVID-19. Some of you are probably wondering whether this is ever going to end. However long it takes, we all have to do our part, including our children, to hold the line. You can protect yourself and your family by getting vaccinated.
And if you're already vaccinated, don't let your guard down, because you can still give and get COVID-19. And if you're not vaccinated, remember that if you catch the virus, you could suffer more severe complications. At the end of the day, it's the choices we make to protect ourselves, our families, and our community that will control the spread.
We know it sounds repetitive at this point, but again, wash your hands, watch your distance, and wear your mask.
Together, we have to hold the line.
The relationship between Guam and Manila, Philippines is undeniable, as we share similar cultural traditions, history, and heritage, with generations of Filipinos calling Guam home. KUAM presents a monthly look at the capital city, featuring in-depth and engaging interviews on everything from medical tourism to new business and government leaders. Veteran newscaster Nestor Lecanto delivers Beyond Our Borders. This special program is brought to you by KFC and the Medical City, where patients are partners.
Say hello to the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, where you get smart insights into your finances so you can make smart decisions with your money. With a daily personalized feed, you can compare your monthly income to spending. That's better. Discover where your money is actually going. You might be surprised. See what's essential and what isn't. The more you use the app, the smarter it gets. With insights from the First Hawaiian Bank mobile app, it all starts with yes.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's, offers fully covered loading and unloading area with individual pin-coded gate and door access. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Looking for TV schedules, upcoming sports, or special presentations, or what you may have missed over the busy week you had? Well, look no further than KUAM Digital Digest. This weekly emailed newsletter puts all kinds of information in the hands of subscribers each and every week. Just subscribe and we will make sure you keep up with your favorites and stay informed and entertained throughout it all. Go to KUAM.com, click on the newsletter tab, give us your email address, and you are all set. Brought to you in digital partnership with King's Restaurant and Ruby Tuesday Guam. It's the KUAM Digital Digest, your weekly guide to the latest information and best entertainment on the stations and platforms of KUAM.
The Culture Club returns to KUAM Digital and KUAM News Weekend Edition, highlighting Guam's young artists, activists, and crafters as they work to protect, preserve, and promote our Chamorro culture. Watch this weekly feature on the digital platforms of KUAM News Weekend Edition, brought to you by Hanum.
KUAM Communications continues our perpetuation of our Chamorro culture, language, and heritage, with features available to our listening and viewing audience, including streaming of Chamorro music 24 hours per day on Isla Digital Radio on KUAM.com and the KUAM News app. Chamorro News Update, weekdays on The Link and the KUAM News YouTube channel. Conversations about life in our Chamorro language podcast, Cuentos Tapaco, with Kin Conception. Seasonal specials, shows, and other features highlighting the beauty of our language, culture, and history. It's a new era of our continued commitment to our Chamorro heritage. Isla, watch, listen, stream. Viva Isla!
Listen, watch, and learn from the daily Chamorro news updates from KUAM News. Catch them on the link during the 8 o'clock hour, streaming online on Isla Radio, or on the KUAM News YouTube channel for your convenience. Tune in and stay informed, all while preserving our precious culture through the daily use of our native Chamorro language. Chamorro news updates are brought to you by your familia at First Hawaiian Bank.
KUAM's multi-platform morning show, The Link, just got a little more delicious with Feed Me Fridays. Chris, Sabrina, Jason, and the rest of the morning crew will take some time off each Friday to talk, taste, and tempt you with all the latest and greatest food and drinks on Guam. Old faves, new hits, and everything else we can put in our bellies. It's Feed Me Fridays on The Link, brought to you by King's Restaurants, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and Devondale. The world of television is more exciting than ever. Don't miss a minute of special presentations from NBC on KUAM TV 8 or from CBS on KUAM TV 11. Every month, we'll bring you the fun and excitement of award shows and red carpet moments, special series presentations, and other great network programs. Brought to you locally by King's Restaurant, Ruby Tuesday Guam, Bud Light Seltzer, and Docomo Pacific, giving you more reasons to tune in and turn on. Fall in love with TV again with the best from KUAM Communications.
Uno Mixed. We're mixing it up on the last Thursday of every month with a look at lifestyle, entertainment, food, and so much more on the stations, networks, and digital platforms of KUAM Communications. Uno Mixed is presented to you by Docomo Pacific, Better Together, and Pepsi.
This season, KUAM Communications is ready to go with more games, more championships, and more sports specials guaranteed to bring out the fan in you. Don't miss a minute of gameplay from NBC on KUAM TV 8 or from CBS on KUAM TV 11. We're bringing you all the action and excitement brought to you locally by Michelob Ultra, the superior light beer, Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape, and Docomo Pacific.
Catch SportsLink on the KUAM News Morning Show, The Link, every Friday to hear about the latest in sports news, game schedules, athlete profiles, and more. SportsLink,
brought to you each week by Cure Alkaline Water and Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape,
airs every Friday across the multimedia platforms of KUAM. Tune into the broadcast on Breeze 93.9 FM on KUAM TV 11, live streaming through the KUAM News Facebook page, or view highlights on YouTube, KUAM News Facebook, and Instagram. SportsLink is hosted by Dave Delgado through KUAM Sports, and he will make sure that everyone knows what is happening on the fields, in the gyms, and everywhere in between.
This season of The Voice promises to be the best one yet, with singer Ariana Grande joining the star-studded coach lineup, including John Legend, Blake Shelton, and Kelly Clarkson.
Happen to see how last season ended? I won.
But that's why I'm here.
To get you hyped up for the big premiere, KUAM Communications are giving you the chance to win $500 daily between September 13th to September 17th for showing us how much you love The Voice. All you have to do is listen to The Link on Breeze 93.9 FM or watch the live stream on Facebook Live, and when prompted, call in with your answer to The Voice Daily Trivia Challenge. And then on premiere day, September 21st, check out KUAM Digital for a special bonus question and another chance to win $500. Visit KUAM.com for official rules and regulations. Some restrictions apply.
The Voice, brought to you locally by First Hawaiian Bank.
Hey, good morning. 9:39. Tim Malahania is out in Florida right now. Totally relocated. Good for him. Right on. Monday, September 13, 2021. We are proudly brought to you by Pacific Points, Cabo Enterprises, ITD, and Jack in the Box. This is The Link on a Monday. Good morning.
And you guys, what everybody has been waiting for. We teased it at the top of the show.
We can still drag it out a little more. Let's talk a little bit about The Voice, Jay.
So The Voice premieres on Tuesday. That's next Tuesday, September 21st, right here on KUM TV 8 at 7 p.m. And to celebrate, as we've been saying, and everybody's going nuts over this, we're giving away cash prizes of $500. 500 smackaroonies daily all week.
500.
Now this season, it's not just the OG judges. They've also got Ariana Grande joining the crew. So she
Nice.
joins Blake Shelton.
Wow.
Who's from Bree's home state of Oklahoma. So there's a connection. Kelly Clarkson, who I've got a connection with.
What
Because
is
her brother's name is also Jason, and we have the same birthday.
Wow, you and Kelly Clarkson have the same
Yeah.
birthday.
She's substantially more
I
talented
like
than I
her
am. but-
style, man. Her style's good.
Yeah, and John Legend, who you have something in common with because you passed by a piano once, and he plays piano very
Yeah, right on.
well. Then they're joining forces for an exciting new season filled with pure magic. And you want to watch the season premiere next Tuesday, as I said, on 7 p.m., only on KUAM TV8. So, everybody.
What, Jay, what would you do if you were going to be on The Voice? Like, what song would you sing?
Oh, like if I had to go out and audition?
Yeah. And you get the one song that you can nail it.
I would either do The Trooper by Iron Maiden
What?
and show off my range and show off the fact that I only went through puberty like last year and I'm 47 years old, or She's Out of My Life by Michael Jackson.
Wow.
You nail the high note, and if one of those chairs doesn't turn around, I would be massively disappointed.
You're right. Usually the guys and the women who can nail the like high note,
Yeah.
they get the turn.
I would be appealing to Ariana specifically.
Right.
I'd be like, hey, I got a 3-octave range. You've got like your
I want to
vocal
hear.
range is
I
off
wanna,
the charts.
I want to hear something now. And we owe it to our audience. You can't come on here and say, "Oh, if I was auditioning for The Voice, I would sing Iron Maiden or Michael Jackson," because I can hit the notes without like hitting the notes. You got to hit the notes now. Come on, man.
With absolutely zero warm up, and you're asking me to sing
No,
like a high
warming
note.
up, bro. We got 19
Nobody
minutes.
wants to hear me. And people
They
want to
do.
Yes,
They
we
actually
do.
wanna hear
do. They do actually want to hear you, Jay.
Give him a beat.
Women love looking at you, bro. You're a
Yeah,
stud.
here we
You're a
go.
stud. You are a stud.
All right.
Don't let it go to
You
your
take
head.
my life, but I'll take your soul. You fire musky, but I'll run you through. So waiting when you're ready for the next attack. The better stand and they're turning back. No, that's not a clapping song. That's Iron Maiden.
You know
Okay.
Iron Maiden, Bree?
There you go. Thank you.
What about the Michael Jackson?
No, that's I would need to like.
Because I think only like 1% of our audience even knew what
No,
song
okay.
that was.
If I say I would sing Michael Jackson on The Voice, people would not watch The Voice, and I don't want to do that.
Come on, let's
'Cause
just
this
hear you
season is
just a
gonna be
little,
awesome.
just a little taste of MJ. Come on, man.
I'm struggling to breathe right now.
He's done it before. This guy can really sing Michael Jackson.
No, I cannot.
Come on, Bree, tell your boy.
Yeah, how
I
about
can't
you
tell
do
him
something?
nothing. He don't listen to me.
No, how about you do something?
I got nothing.
What song would you sing, Bree?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a singer.
She can nail Alanis Morissette. I've heard her sing Alanis
Yeah,
Morissette.
yeah.
It's very impressive.
Anybody, when you ask Bree, hey, what's your go-to? I asked her one time. I said, what's your go-to jam in karaoke? She was like, oh, You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette. Like, okay, you have to know how to sing that song.
No, you just need to have an attitude, be mad and
Be mad
angry.
and have a drink.
Yeah,
There you go.
have a couple of adult beverages in you.
Right on. Yeah, you're getting some wows here, Jay. Look, I told you, bro. Wow.
Oh, yeah, Valerie saying wow.
Wow, go Jason,
By the
go
way,
Jason.
again, Val, congratulations to your daughter for making it on
Yes.
TV.
Right on.
She cheers for Navy. Go midshipmen.
Yeah, so again, The Voice premieres Tuesday, NBC KUAM TV8, 7 p.m. And to celebrate, we are giving away cash prizes of $500 right here on the link every day this week. Okay? And again, this season, Ariana Grande joins Blake Shelton, Kelly Clarkson, and John Legend for an exciting new season filled with pure magic. Watch the season premiere next Tuesday, 7 p.m., only on NBC KUAM TV8. We're going to take a break. And then we're going to come back and tell you how you are going to win $500 before the end of this show. It's 9:43. This is The Link. Good morning.
This season of The Voice promises to be the best one yet, with singer Ariana Grande joining the star-studded Coach lineup, including John Legend, Blake Shelton, and Kelly Clarkson.
Happen to see how last season ended? I won.
But that's why I'm here.
To get you hyped up for the big premiere, KUAM Communications are giving you the chance to win $500 daily between September 13th to September 17th for showing us how much you love The Voice. All you have to do is listen listen to The Link on Breeze 93.9 FM or watch the live stream on Facebook Live. And when prompted, call in with your answer to the Voice Daily Trivia Challenge. And then on Premiere Day, September 21st, check out KUAM Digital for a special bonus question and another chance to win $500. Visit KUAM.com for official rules and regulations. Some restrictions apply.
The Voice, brought to you locally by First Hawaiian Bank.
See what's on TV tonight with schedules, network news and notes, local promotions and giveaways on KUAM Communications social media pages. Like and follow us on Facebook or Instagram now for all the latest and never miss out.
The KUAM Podcast Network is back and on demand, featuring a great variety of podcasts from our island and region, including culture, lifestyle, awareness, crime, politics, commentary, comedy, and entertainment. Available on most streaming platforms. The KUAM Podcast Network. Subscribe and listen now.
Yeah, are you Monday's child? Cause your favorite face is the only thing I see when I walk in the place. I watch you glow in the sun as you walk past me slowly. I whisper, take a breath and say, oh man, if only. But no, not even one look, not even a glance. I'll go home to feel like, man, I'll never get a chance. One day I promise my motivations will change when I've got nothing left to lose and everything to gain. I'll drop sweet lines, ask if you like the way my band plays. I ask you what you're signing, what you usually do on Saturdays, and if you've had any dreams that have ever come true. And if you can see in me all the things I see in you, even if we don't have a future, could we still have a past? Do things, go to places, make memories to last. I swear I don't want a lifetime, wanna meet me in the nighttime for 3 or 2 or 1 night. Just show me it's the right time.
Show me it's the right time. Show me it's the right time. Show me it's the right time.
Just show me it's the right time.
Show me it's the right time. Show me it's the right time.
Yeah, we had a comment here. Can we please hear DJ Joester sing something?
Yay!
Yeah. No. Sorry. You know, don't be racist. Just because he's Filipino doesn't mean he can sing everything, all right? 9:47. Yeah, Jay, good job. We got a lot of comments.
A lot of laughing emoji too. Thank you, everybody.
Hey, laughter's the best medicine.
There you
Probably works better than Regencove.
All right, who wants $500?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You gotta work for it though.
You do.
So there's the way we're doing this, right? We'll take the first correct caller, 637-0094, and you got to answer a trivia question, and we have a challenge for you.
All right. What's the number?
637-0094, the correct caller.
First correct caller.
First correct caller. Thank you. Phone lines lighting up already, I can see.
Oh my goodness. They don't even know the question yet. Okay,
Number's
so that's
working.
the number.
Yep.
637-0094 is the number. We're not going to answer until the question's asked.
Right. So, again.
What's the question?
The question, $500 up for grabs. It's trivia from The Voice. Jason Solis. Let's hear it, yeah.
Oh, so the trivia question.
Yeah, the trivia. So we're going to ask the trivia question. The first correct caller is going to win $500.
Yeah, so the trivia question is, Blake Shelton, one of the judges on The Voice, recently married voice coach Gwen Stefani, of course, formerly of No Doubt. Which member of The Voice officiated their wedding? They tied the knot. They are betrothed. Who oversaw them joining their souls in holy matrimony?
All right, it's multiple choice.
Yes, is it A, Carson Daly, B, Adam Levine, C, John Legend, or D, Kelly Clarkson? Which of those voice cast members officiated the wedding of Blake and Gwen?
All right, let's
A,
go to the
Carson
phones.
Daly, B, Adam Levine, C, John Legend, or D, Kelly Clarkson.
You have to be a resident of Guam. All right. Sorry if you're a Facebook Live watching from elsewhere.
The number 637-0094, 637-0094.
Okay, here we go. Let's go. Hi, this is the link. Good morning.
Hi.
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 What's your name?
Joe.
Joe. Good morning, Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, good morning.
Are you a big fan of The Voice?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, guess what? We have $500 right here, but you got to answer this trivia question correctly. Blake Shelton recently married veteran voice coach Gwen Stefani. Which member of The Voice officiated their wedding? A, Carson Daly, B, Adam Levine, C, John Legend, D, Kelly Clarkson.
Carson Daly.
Judges?
That answer is correct.
Right.
Yeah! All right, Joe.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Okay, Joe. So you got the trivia question correct. So you're one step away from winning $500. You know, everybody's hurting right now. We would love to give you this $500. Your challenge is you have to sing us something. It can be anything. You can go freestyle. You can be gospel. It can be sing your favorite song, sing an original song, sing the alphabet.
Yeah.
But
if you were auditioning, so.
yeah, we want to hear your pipes.
Oh, man. Are you serious? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. One song I always sing, I love to sing, is And I'm on live?
Yeah, you are, man.
Oh, my God.
No pressure.
You got this, girl.
You can do it. We're behind you.
You ready?
Yep.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy. Okay, that's it. Okay?
Yay!
Wow.
Times like this, we need a lot of sunshine, right?
Amen.
Exactly.
Yep, and we're lighting up your life with $500, Joe. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Great job, Joe.
You just let my baby have a big smile on her face. Chris, I think your voice rubbed off on her.
There you go. All right. Okay, hold on, Kay. We're going to get your information.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And you should consider a career in singing. That was pretty good. Not too shabby.
Hey, if I was on The Voice, I'd be like, I want her on my team.
Yeah.
Earn the chair.
It's 9:51. So congratulations, Joe. Guys, it's so easy. Literally so easy. We're just going to be asking trivia questions about The Voice every day this week. And then, so we're doing it on the link this week, Jay, and then next week.
Yeah, and then for the final day, we're also doing it on digital, too.
There
So
you
we're
go.
going to tell you about that tomorrow.
Okay.
Right, and so The Voice, the 2-hour season premiere is Tuesday, September 21st from 7 to 9 p.m. And you guys have seen the new judge, Ariana Grande.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
She's so freaking amazing. Her voice is... She reminds me of like a Mariah Carey, like a younger, modern-day Mariah.
Right, yeah. Jay's been a big fan of Ariana Grande.
I'm not going to lie. I have an Ariana Grande playlist on Spotify.
Mm-hmm. And she was on that show, because my son used to watch it when he was young.
What
no,
show is
Tyler
that,
used
Jay?
to watch it.
Victorious.
Victorious, yeah.
Victorious, okay. It's 9:53. Joe, don't hang up, okay? Because I got to get your info to get you that cash. So stay right there.
Sunshine Joe.
Joe, who's your Sunshine Joe? I like Joe. So who do you think is your favorite between Ariana Grande, Blake Shelton, Kelly Clarkson, and John Legend? That's a tough call, but who's your favorite?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I like Kelly.
Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Texas girl.
And Kelly's OG, right? She's been. Wait, no, she was like season 3 or season 4.
Because it was Christina Aguilera. It was the OG. Oh,
The only one who's been there since the very beginning now is Blake, right? Blake's been there ever since. Yeah,
and Adam, but Adam's not there.
Yeah, so Blake is OG.
Got it. Okay. Sunshine Joe, hang on, okay?
Congratulations again.
Way to go. Hey, it's Monday. We're going to take a break and come back and close out the show next right here on The Link. Good morning.
This season of The Voice promises to be the best one yet, with singer Ariana Grande joining the star-studded Coach lineup, including John Legend, Blake Shelton, and Kelly Clarkson.
Happy to see how last season ended. I won.
But that's why I'm here.
To get you hyped up for the big premiere, KUAM Communications are giving you the chance to win $500 daily between September 13th to September 17th for showing us how much you love The Voice. All you have to do is listen to The Link on Breeze 93.9 FM or watch the live stream on Facebook Live, and when prompted, call in with your answer to The Voice Daily Trivia Challenge. And then on premiere day, September 21st, check out KUAM Digital for a special bonus question and another chance to win $500. Visit KUAM.com for official rules and regulations. Some restrictions apply.
The Voice, brought to you locally by First Hawaiian Bank. See what's on TV tonight with schedules, network news and notes, local promotions and giveaways on KUAM Communications social media pages. Like and follow us on Facebook or Instagram now for all the latest and never miss out.
We know you're tired of hearing about COVID-19. Some of you are probably wondering whether this is ever going to end. However long it takes, we all have to do our part, including our children, to hold the line. You can protect yourself and your family by getting vaccinated.
And if you're already vaccinated, don't let your guard down, because you can still give and get COVID-19. And if you're not vaccinated, remember that if you catch the virus, you could suffer more severe complications. At the end of the day, it's the choices we make to protect ourselves, our families, and our community that will control the spread.
We know it sounds repetitive at this point, but again, wash your hands, watch your distance, and wear your mask.
Together, we have to hold the line. The KUAM Podcast Network is back and on demand, featuring a great variety of podcasts from our island and region, including culture, lifestyle, awareness, crime, politics, commentary, comedy, and entertainment. Available on most streaming platforms. The KUAM Podcast Network. Subscribe and listen now.
KUAM's multi-platform morning show, The Link, just got a little more delicious with Feed Me Fridays. Chris, Sabrina, Jason, and the rest of the morning crew will take some time off each Friday to talk, taste, and tempt you with all the latest and greatest food and drinks on Guam. Old faves, new hits, and everything else we can put in our bellies. It's Feed Me Fridays on The Link, brought to you by King's Restaurants, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and Devondale.
Catch SportsLink on the KUAM News Morning Show, The Link, every Friday to hear about the latest in sports news, game schedules, athlete profiles, and more. SportsLink,
Brought to you each week by Pure Alkaline Water and Mariana's Irrigation and Landscape.
airs every Friday across the multimedia platforms of KUAM. Tune into the broadcast on Breeze 93.9 FM, on KUAM TV 11, live streaming through the KUAM News Facebook page, or view highlights on YouTube, KUAM News Facebook, and Instagram. SportsLink is hosted by Dave Delgado through KUAM Sports, and he will make sure that everyone knows what is happening on the fields, in the gyms, and everywhere in between.
The Link here on Breeze 93.9 FM.
Maybe I chose the wrong time, saying that I love you. Maybe it was the wrong sign, and saying it makes me blue. But how much can I tell you by leaving me behind?
Welcome back to The Link, everybody. Guys, I got a really wonderful comment from Chamarita Regis, one of our top fans, and she goes, I want to sing, I love you, you love me, we're a happy KUM family. The Barney song.
Wow.
Man.
She had another great comment.
That's awesome. That made my day. Thank you, Chamarita.
Who knows, Chamarita? You could be winning $500 tomorrow. All right? Get your singing voice on, guys, and brush up on your voice trivia, and it could be you winning 500 huge smackaroos. Yeah, Jay, you didn't read her other comment, though. She had another comment in here. Yeah, it says something like, Chris Malfunction Barnett will have 4 chairs turned if he sings, especially if he was going all out. Bree, you don't know what song you'd sing?
It's your birthday. We would turn 4 chairs for you.
What song would you?
That.
Oh, what Bree? What song would you sing, birthday boy over here? For
I think Bree would do
his
if
birthday.
she was on The Voice. She would do like a country song, right?
I don't know. You know, I like that song. What is it?
In case you didn't know.
Yeah, in case you didn't know.
I know. She'd probably do that one.
Oh, okay. If Bree was doing that and we were challenging, I would sing the Rascal Flatts song if I had to go country.
What hurts the most?
What hurts, man?
Nice.
That song is beautiful and brutal.
It's a burner.
Woo!
It's 10 o'clock, guys. Let's do Burger King. Whopper Wednesday is back, guys. Wednesdays, you go to Burger King, you order a Whopper, and then you say, I love the Whopper. And they're going to give you another one absolutely free. Okay? Be safe, guys. The show brought to you by Pacific Points, Cabo Enterprises, IT&E, and Jack in the Box as always.
Happy birthday again, man.
Thank you, my friends.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you guys for all your sweet birthday dedications. Always great. Some years you just want to kind of like not do a birthday, and that's how I felt this year. But, as always, coming in here and vibing with my great team and you guys out there in the audience. Guam's always been so great to me. I'm so blessed. Thank you guys. So grateful. Be safe, okay? And we got your 6 with our KUAM News primetime broadcast. It's 10 o'clock. We're KUAM FM in Agotni, Guam. This has been another episode of The Link. My name's Chris.
I'm Sabrina.
I'm Jason.
And that is Joe Sir. We're leaving you with this one from the Dolls, one of our faves. It's called Celebrate. Esta. Adios!
SLA, Guam is where I'm from. Tatotanu Itamoru, kingdom of our people. GUAM, island in the sun. From Jigo to Malesu, this land is all that we know. I said this land is all that we know. Come with me to my roots in a little tin shack on the ranch with my tata and the sweat up on my back. People, am I from the tree? How much hotter can it be? He said, they don't worry, boy, just listen to me. So I cool down and relax, no worry, we're living in paradise. There's no place on this earth, I will tell you, that'll make you feel so nice. ISLA, Guam is where I'm from. Tautotonu Itamoru, kingdom of our people. GUAM, island in the sun. From Jigo to Malesu, this land is all that we know. I said this land is all that we know.
We'll take you back to our roots in a little small island, skanking together underneath the sunshine. Love and respect is the key, friends and family. We're not gonna bust the fight, spread positivity. I say, sit back, relax, don't worry. We're living in paradise. Whatever I may be, it's not walk on right by me. Words are how you always over mine.
ISLA, Guam is where I'm from. Tautotonu Itamoru, kingdom of our people. GUAM, island in the sun. From Jigo to Malesu, this land is all that we know. I said this land is all that we know.
No matter where you go, yes, no matter how far.
Just look real deep inside, you'll find the sea slide in your heart. Even when I'm far away, my love for you will never fade. ISLA, Guam is where I'm from. Tautotonu Itamoru, kingdom of our people. GUAM, island in the sun. From Jigo to Malesu, this land is all that we know.